You live, you die. You live, you die.
What's happening when that's...
What's happening is on this video, on these images, the person that's recording it is holding the recorder and is standing basically above this girl and strangling her. And so we need to talk about this. We need to get ahead of this, Mr. Smith.
Sadly, in my movies, everyone dies. I get the Oscar. Only me. Okay, so please finish. I'm tired.
Are you guys in a rush to go home?
Are we in a rush?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk some more?
Brian Smith led a double life. At home, he appeared to be a devoted husband, calm, composed, and caring. But beyond the walls of his domestic life, a much darker persona emerged. Under the cover of night, he would drive through the streets of Anchorage in his black pickup truck, drawn by sinister impulses he could no longer suppress. On one rainy evening, Valerie Kassler, a homeless woman seeking shelter in her tent, encountered Brian when he pulled up beside her and offered a ride. Weary from the cold and damp conditions, she accepted.
And he pulls up, and I was homeless, living in a tent, and it was raining that night. And then he goes, well, it's raining. You want to ride around with me? And, and I was like, sure.
What followed was a seemingly uneventful night of driving through the city, including a stop near the airport to watch planes. Brian presented himself as harmless, merely someone offering warmth and companionship on a stormy night.
Did you go anywhere?
I probably would have driven around a bit, got some food and stuff.
Okay. Did you meet up with anybody, talk to anybody?
I can't remember. I probably would have, between us, I have been known to sometimes go out and find a companion,
Okay. Did you do that, you think, that particular night?
I probably did, yeah.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me about how that evening went down?
Well, if this is the same evening, I met a lady down at the homeless shelter. She actually works there, and she stayed the night.
Later, during a brief stop at a gas station where Brian stepped out to use the ATM, Valerie remained alone in the truck. As she adjusted herself in the seat, her phone slipped from her hand and fell to the floor. While retrieving it, her hand brushed against a second phone, tucked out of sight, one that clearly wasn't hers. Acting on impulse and without attracting attention, she quietly slipped the unfamiliar phone into her pocket.
I dropped my phone.
In the car?
In his truck, yeah.
You were in the front passenger seat?
Yeah. And when I reached down, I grabbed 2 phones.
Back inside her tent, Valerie powered on the phone she had taken. Curiosity gave way to horror as she navigated through its contents. Among the files, a folder labeled Homicide at Midtown Marriott stood out, containing 39 images and 12 video files. What she discovered inside was deeply unsettling. One video opened with footage of a man holding the camera. On the floor of what appeared to be a hotel room lay a woman, still alive but visibly distressed. The camera captured the man pressing his foot against her throat as he spoke chilling words. "You're not leaving here alive. I'm killing you."
What did you see at first?
Him talking and his voice and her body laying on the floor of the hotel.
She was alive, though, at that point.
Yeah. And he stepped on her throat and he said, "You're not leaving here alive. I'm killing you."
The situation escalated quickly. The man retrieved a wire and wrapped it tightly around the woman's neck, ultimately taking her life. Yet the horror did not end there. Even after her death, the footage showed the man continuing to act out his perverse and violent fantasies, revealing the depth of his depravity.
Are you still alive?
I watched all of it. And he pulled out a wire, put it around her neck, and she was dead. And he was still doing things to her.
Despite her fear, Valerie continued exploring the phone's contents. What she found next was chilling. Photos of a woman's lifeless body on a hotel luggage cart, covered by a sheet beside a black pickup truck. It was the same truck she had recently ridden in. Even more disturbing, the woman in the photos was her. The images appeared staged, as if foreshadowing her own murder. The files were dated 2004, 2019, less than a month earlier. Valerie was terrified but knew she couldn't ignore what she had found. Still, handing over the phone could expose her to danger. On September 30th, 2019, she removed the SD card containing the evidence and gave it to police. To protect herself, she claimed she had found it in a parking lot, never revealing that it had come from Brian Stephen Smith's phone. Although Valerie knew the identity of the man behind the camera, Detective Brendan Lee, who received the SD card at the station, had no such information. When he and his team reviewed the footage, they were stunned by what they saw.
You live, you die. You live, you die. You live, you die. Sadly, in my movies, everyone dies. I get the Oscar. Only me. Okay, so please just finish. I'm trying.
The killer remained unseen, but his voice was clearly captured. His tone was detached, controlled, yet laced with an eerie intensity. From the language he used, it became evident that the acts were not impulsive. They were methodical. Each movement was calculated, as though following a premeditated script. This was no crime of passion. It was something far more sinister.
I don't know why I would have done this. It can't, what I'm trying to say is it can't be anger.
It's pretty controlled. It's pretty specific.
Mm.
It's pretty targeted. I don't think that either. I mean, it's pretty calculated. You obviously know what you're doing. You're telling her what you're doing. You're telling the viewers, in this case happens to be the police, what you're doing. It's pretty calculated.
Mm.
There's some anger that comes out, but it's very controlled, very intentional, callous act.
You're very comfortable doing it too.
Which makes us concerned.
As investigators analyzed the recordings, a disturbing pattern emerged. The killer wasn't only committing murder, he was documenting it with purpose. The structure and pacing of the footage suggested it was being produced for an audience, possibly for profit. It became horrifyingly clear. These weren't just killings. They were being turned into a form of depraved entertainment.
Like I said, there's videos of it. There's video of it, there's audio of it, there's a voice I've been talking to you now for almost 30, 40 minutes. And I know it was your voice I could hear in the video.
Okay.
And if you'd like to hear some of that, I can refresh your memory with it.
The same pictures are on the SD card with your truck that you said was your truck.
Yeah, these are all on the same as your truck here. So.
That sounds like me. What's happening when that's...
What's happening is on this video, on these images, the person that's recording it is holding the recorder and is standing basically above this girl and strangling her. And so we need to talk about this. We need to get ahead of this, Mr. Smith.
I don't want to act stupid, but I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything.
Okay. Well, this occurred, and like I said, the photos are timestamped. This occurred in that room 323, 323, on September 4th, early mornings.
Yeah.
At the time that you were at the hotel.
The 4th, I'm not denying, I'm not saying you're lying, but I don't remember anything like this.
Among the most haunting moments was the scene where the cameraman pressed his foot onto the victim's throat, slowly suffocating her. The desperate sound of her final breaths echoed through the recording, leaving investigators deeply shaken.
If you say that happened, people understand that, you hear that, like, okay, well, I get that.
Well, me too. I wouldn't believe someone who said I didn't. You know, like I said to you right in the beginning, if I was on a anger trip or whatever, the first moment you hit somebody, you'll come out of it. You know, you sober from the first little hit on the person.
Well, that's not what you did.
Because they kept going for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, so that's...
You put your hand on her throat, called her some names, you slapped her, You told her she was going to die.
Mm.
So you didn't come out of it.
Yeah,
You came out of it the next morning when you found the body in your truck, apparently. But then you really can't argue that because you actually took photos of her 2 days later in the back of your truck of this body you just found in the back of your truck. You know, and you're telling us how you took photos of these other women kind of to bolster, but yet you don't want to admit that that's what that last photo was of her at 1:10 in the morning at mile 108.5, where your phone was, where your Google was, and where that photo was taken.
Mm-hmm.
That was bolstering for what you did to her the previous night, just like this is bolstering what you did to her. Mm-hmm. This is just a lesser degree. This is just what everybody does. This just went one step further.
As the footage showed the cameraman strangling the victim with a wire, a chilling realization emerged. This wasn't merely an act of murder. He taunted her, violated her, and filmed every moment with disturbing intent. It felt orchestrated, almost cinematic, as if he were crafting a grotesque masterpiece meant for an unseen audience. The level of planning and detachment was deeply unsettling. Though his face never appeared on camera, his voice was clearly audible. One officer, struck by its distinct accent and tone, recognized it from a prior case. The resemblance was uncanny. The voice matched that of a man who had filed a police report earlier that same month.
So what you're saying is it's definitely you talking on the recording, on the audio there, that you don't recall that?
That sounds like my voice. I've got a unique voice.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It's English mixed with the Dutch.
Mm-hmm. And you talking and like I said, there's about 12 of these videos, and I've watched every single one of them multiple times, unfortunately. And you talking, you know what you're doing in those videos. I mean, you're describing what's going on in those videos. And so, Mr. Smith, I don't believe that you don't remember this happening. And like I said, we need to talk. We need to get ahead of this because this is pretty big here.
Yeah.
In September 2019, he claimed that while he was at work, his vehicle had been vandalized. Its passenger window shattered and several items stolen, including his wallet, personal documents, electronics, and a GoPro. That man had no prior criminal record in Alaska. His name was Brian Stephen Smith.
And like I said, I have some stuff I want to talk to you, and I want to hear what you have to say, and I appreciate you being attentive to me. So, like I said, we have some matters we need to clear up with you, and I just wanted to ask you: do you have any idea, any thought in your head about what we might want to talk to you today about?
No, my truck was broken into a few months, well, about a month or two ago, and that's why I don't have a driver's license. My wallet was stolen.
Okay.
And I had some papers that were in the car with me.
Okay.
And some stuff. Is it about that?
Where was it at that your truck was broken into?
It was at University Lake.
University Lake at that's the one over there by UAA, kind of off Elmore Road. Is that the University Lake?
Yes, it's right there between the Native Hospital and Providence. Yeah.
Okay. What day was it that it was broken into?
Oh, I can't remember.
Did you report it to the police?
Yes.
Okay.
And they used my credit card to go buy a whole lot of stuff. So that's what I was worried about.
Okay.
And one of my bags had a whole lot of confidential papers in it.
Okay.
Things that I used with my immigration.
Okay.
And so I was worried about those things getting in the wrong hands, identity fraud and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That discovery was all Detective Brendan Lee needed to pursue the case further. He reviewed the Marriott guest list from the dates corresponding with the video timestamps. As suspected, Brian Stephen Smith's name appeared. He had checked in from September 2nd to September 4th.
A few weeks ago, probably a month or two, I had a fight with my wife and I went and stayed at a Marriott.
Okay.
It's the one that's behind Moose's Tooth.
Okay,
Yeah.
behind the Moose's Tooth.
Yeah.
Okay, and what, you said about 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
you and your wife stayed there?
No, I stayed there.
You stayed
Yeah.
there? What did you say about your wife, though?
Oh, we had a fight. So,
Oh, you had a fight? Okay.
Yeah.
So about what date do you think that was?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can look on my phone.
Okay.
Or it'll say like, how was your stay or whatever,
Okay. And how many nights did you rent it? Do you have to, as an employee, do you have to rent the room, or how does that work?
Oh, yeah, I just rent the room, yeah.
Okay, and how many nights did you rent the room for?
Probably about 2 nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And when you went to the hotel, what did you do? What was your evening like?
Well, after a fight with your wife, you usually drink a hell of a lot, so it did involve quite a bit of alcohol. So
Okay.
This confirmation, paired with the voice recognition, gave detectives the breakthrough they needed. A warrant was swiftly issued for Smith's phone, marking a pivotal moment in the investigation. Now authorities had both a name and a digital trail to follow.
And now is that one like the one you're missing? Because you said you're missing one out of the GoPro.
no, well, the whole GoPro's gone.
Oh, the whole GoPro's gone.
Yeah.
But was that the type of card that might have been in that GoPro when it was gone?
No.
Okay.
I've got one of these that I've been using for my 3D printer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I've got these green ones. The other one's all black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so like I said, this was brought to APD and given to me, and like I said, I viewed the images and the videos on that SD card.
Yeah.
And that's obviously that's how I got to you. That's how I figured out who you are.
Okay.
And that's what we need to clear up that matter of what's on that SD card.
Okay, what's on the card?
Shortly after the SD card was turned over, a grim discovery was made. Human remains were found near mile 18 of the Seward Highway. The victim was a woman with long dark hair, matching the individual seen in the disturbing footage. Investigators quickly connected the dots. This was likely the same woman captured in the videos. With a prime suspect identified and a body recovered, the urgency intensified. The FBI joined the investigation, providing crucial data. Smith's cell phone had pinged off a tower near mile 108 of the Seward Highway, potentially pointing to the location of another crime scene.
What kind of phone do you have?
I got a Galaxy Note 5.
Okay. How long have you had that phone?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that phone linked to that number you gave me a minute ago, 205?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've had that phone more than a year, or that number? How long have you had that number?
Oh, I had that number about 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So part of the way this investigation has gone so far is that we got that number based on records, state records that you've given it for many different reasons. We linked that number to you,
Yeah.
and I obtained the records from AT&T via search warrant. And what that entails is basically the way your cell phone works, and you probably know this, is as you go around town, your cell phone pings off towers that are all over Anchorage, and it shows us basically historically of where you've been.
The evidence was mounting, and the pursuit of justice had officially begun. The phone data was a crucial breakthrough. Its timestamps and location matched exactly with where the remains were found, directly linking Brian Stephen Smith to the crime. On October 10, the victim was identified as 30-year-old Kathleen Jo Henry. Her social media activity had abruptly stopped just days before the videos were recorded at the hotel. Originally from Eek, a remote native Alaskan village of fewer than 500 residents, Kathleen had moved to Anchorage. She was divorced and had earned her GED in prison at age 23. Her criminal record dated back to 2007, including charges such as assault, DUI, and theft. Despite her troubled history, Kathleen's life was cut short in a horrific act that would now drive a high-profile murder investigation. Most recently, on December 1, 2019, Kathleen Jo Henry had been charged with fourth-degree assault. Despite her troubled history, those close to her believed she was making an effort to rebuild her life. She remained hopeful about the future and was deeply loved by many. At the time of her death, Brian Stephen Smith was vacationing in Virginia with his wife. In a strange twist of timing, the SD card containing the incriminating videos was turned over to police on October 8th, the very day Smith departed Alaska. Upon returning to Anchorage, Smith began a new job at the Residence Inn, a hotel near University Lake, and separate from the original crime scene. But Detective Brendan Lee had no intention of giving him another opportunity to act. When Smith landed at Ted Stevens International Airport following his trip, law enforcement was waiting. Unaware of the unfolding investigation, Brian Smith was taken completely by surprise.
Mr. Smith, I'm Detective Lee, the Anchorage Police Department. I just want to show you my badge,
Yeah.
my ID, so you know who you're talking to. This is Detective Bell, my partner. We have some matters we wanted to clear up with you and talk to you today, so I appreciate you coming up here with these guys and talking to me. Obviously, We're here at the airport. They brought you up here to talk to me, so we have some kind of a formality to get by. I have to read you what's called a Miranda warning. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to read this to you, and if you have any questions at all while I'm reading it, just feel free to stop me and ask me, and I'll explain it the best I can, okay?
After a long flight from Washington, D.C., he was met not by routine, but by handcuffs and the beginning of his reckoning.
You said you stayed there 2 nights, right?
Yeah.
And this was the second night that you're telling us
This
about
would
right
have been
now?
the second night, yeah.
What did you do the first night? The first night you stayed there, tell us about that night.
That night, I would have probably just fallen dead asleep, if I can put it that way.
Okay, so that you didn't have somebody else, you didn't meet another companion, have somebody else there the first night?
No, I would have been like, just tired from the fight, you're mentally tired, you just want to go home and just...
After a grueling 10-hour flight across 4 time zones, Brian Stephen Smith arrived in Anchorage physically and mentally drained. His exhaustion left him vulnerable at the worst possible moment.
I just wanted to show you these pictures, see if they would help you kind of refresh the girl from that night.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not her.
Not her?
Just short hair.
Short hair, okay.
She looks like a drug addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen this woman before?
No.
Have you ever had any contact with her at all?
No. I have. Look, in the last 5 years that I've been here, probably starting about 2 years ago, I've probably gone out and picked up a girl or two. So I might have seen her before, but not fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Detectives didn't confront him immediately. Instead, they let him sit across from them, unaware of the extent of their evidence. Their aim was to observe his reactions, not alert him to what they already knew.
This is one of the images on there. Part of it is kind of cut down a little bit, but can you tell me what's in that photo?
There's somebody's feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose feet are those?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm looking at your shoes. I mean, it looks like the shoes you're wearing right now.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay. Is it safe to say those are your feet in that picture?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not the only person that's got shoes like this.
Okay.
I did recently buy these. I can't tell you when.
Okay, you can't tell me when. How long have you had them?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I don't know.
Where'd you buy them from?
These I would have got at Fred Meyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to show you some other images here that, and like I said, I've watched the videos and the images on there, and I've watched them multiple times, and that's why we're here. That's how I knew to talk to you. So these are just some of the other images on there.
Okay.
So what can you tell me about these photos?
This looks like someone that's really been beaten up a bit.
Okay. And these are images. These are images, but there's also videos of this person.
Yeah.
And another person in the room as well. And that's why we're here to talk to you about.
How many people in the room?
At least 2.
Oh.
So we need to address this. We need to clear this up.
Okay.
Mr. Smith.
You think I hit this girl?
Well, like I said, there's videos of it. There's video of it, there's audio of it, there's a voice I've been talking to you now for almost 30, 40 minutes. And I know it was your voice I could hear in the video.
Okay.
For the next 90 minutes, Smith repeatedly shook his head, offering the same refrain, "I didn't do that."
The pictures, I don't know, you probably know about this. I think you're into technology and stuff.
Yeah.
Photographs, they have a time and date stamp. So the photographs are time and date stamped. So they basically, the photographs time and date stamp matched at the time that you were at that hotel room.
Okay.
So that's how this SD card has led me to you.
Okay.
And like I said, there's a number of images on there and there's a number of videos on there. And I brought some of the pictures to kind of go over with you about.
His denials came like a broken record, predictable and rehearsed. But detectives weren't looking for a confession. They were looking for inconsistencies.
The same pictures are on the SD card with your truck that you said was your truck.
Yeah, these are all on the same as your truck here. So what's happening is on this video, on these images, the person that's recording it is holding the recorder and is standing basically above this girl and strangling her.
And while Smith denied everything, the investigators held the upper hand. They had the videos, they had the evidence, and they were prepared to wait as long as it took for the cracks to show.
So then I just have more photos, and then this is more of the images that were on the phone. And this one's out in the parking lot, your truck again. Do you recall that?
Who would record stuff like this? That looks like a Marriott card. That looks like my truck parked over there.
It is.
I do not remember anything like this. Honestly.
Where is this girl now?
I don't know. She's not the girl I picked up. I can tell you now, she's not the one I picked up. The one I picked up was short hair. And I dropped... when I dropped her off, several people waved at her and greeted her. So she's known down there. You know, if we can go down there and I can see the people working there, I can tell you, I can point her probably out to you. You know.
Okay.
But this is not the girl I picked up.
Okay. But that's definitely your voice on those audios. And I have no doubt about it. Like I said, I mean, your shoes are in the picture, your truck's in the picture.
Detectives began to present the evidence methodically, revealing it piece by piece. They showed close-up photographs of Brian Stephen Smith's hands and abdomen, followed by images taken from inside his truck, including a clear shot of the license plate.
Do you remember that photo? Because you don't remember these cars. Do you remember taking that on your phone?
No.
So you don't. So you don't remember taking this photograph.
No, that is me. That's my stomach. That's definitely me. If I let's put it this way, this might sound bad, but it wouldn't have been such a big deal that I remember that photograph. You know, I might have just wanted to record me and a girl doing something. You know, like yeah, just take a photo of.
But you remember taking that?
I remember taking photographs of this girl.
And you remember taking this?
She had an amazing little... Yeah. This was a... This is going to sound sick, but it was like a joke, you know, like a...
Do you remember that?
I don't remember. It wasn't a big event, so yes, I took that photo. Yes, I did. But I don't remember physically taking it. I don't remember.
But you remember taking all those? So
I remember taking photos of this girl. She had a very, very nice little...
So the only thing you don't remember doing is taking pictures of this dead girl. You remember all these other people, but you don't remember the dead one.
This I don't remember. I did not realize this. I did not know this.
No,
you didn't know it, Brian.
Yeah.
You're still saying you didn't know that.
Brian, you knew what you did. You knew what you did in the SD card, and you had it in your head. You had that little bit of glim of light that maybe they haven't found that SD card, maybe they don't have that SD card, and they'll never tie that body over there to me. You had that little bit of hope, but then you were on the other side. You're like, but if they did, this is what I'm going to be ready. This is what I'm going to say. And
you clearly didn't know you were going to have your license plate in the photos, right?
Yeah, that's. I would not do... If I had to do something like this, I would not do that.
That's right. You wouldn't plan that this way.
Yeah.
Right? So clearly it wasn't planned.
Yeah.
It wasn't thought out very well. It was something that happened.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that was planned. There was absolutely... You can tell there's no planning on this.
Yeah.
Each image chipped away at the facade Smith had carefully maintained through denial. The approach was deliberate, not aggressive. The goal was to apply steady psychological pressure, making it increasingly difficult for him to cling to his story.
Okay, well, it was your phone, the 205 number. Yeah. It was your vehicle, your truck. There's cameras out on the highway at the way station, so there's no doubt about it that
Inbound
you were
and
out there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it that you were out there.
Okay, I don't remember anything else, really. I'm sorry.
I think you do remember it, Mr. Smith, and and like I said, we need to talk about it, because right now, this right here is a small portion of this investigation, but this is just a small part of a very large investigation, and we're talking to people. We're talking to your wife, okay?
When have you spoken to her?
We're talking to her right now.
Right now.
Okay, and like I said, this is going to hit the news, and this might be your one chance to talk to give your side of it, to give your story. And that's why I'm here to talk to you today. I didn't have to come here and talk to you. I could have just had him take you. But I wanted to give you that opportunity to explain this, because we got the evidence. We know you were out there. Your phone shows you were out there.
Yeah, well, it's showing it, yeah. I'm not...
So we need to talk about it. We need to address it.
After several hours of quiet intensity, the cracks began to show. Smith started to unravel.
Yeah, well, look, this sounds very serious. No matter what, I'm going to be in deep shit. So, okay, I'll tell you what I remember.
Okay.
The next day at work, I saw something dripping out the back of my truck. And I was like, what the hell? And I opened up, and there was somebody there underneath. There was a blue, like a tarp at the back of my truck. And the back flap doesn't really lock. I've actually put a padlock on now since then. And I saw somebody, and I was like, what the hell? What must I do? What must I do? And because I've been out before, I thought, who's going to believe me? It's like the guy that gets stopped and he's got drugs in his pocket, and it's like, it's not mine, that's the way I was feeling, No one's going to believe me. So I was thinking for a long time, what the hell, what must I do? And then the one night I thought, well, I've got to get rid of this. I can't. And I drove out, and I did. I went and dumped it. But I was thinking of phoning in and saying, hey, I saw somebody standing there, that didn't look good. So yeah, I did dump it, but yeah.
Okay, I appreciate your honesty.
On the surface, Brian Stephen Smith appeared unremarkable. An ordinary man one might pass on the street without a second glance. He held a steady job, lived a quiet life with his wife, and took vacations like anyone else. But beneath that seemingly normal exterior lurked a far more sinister reality. He had been living a double life. One as a devoted husband and unassuming employee, the other a cold, calculated predator hiding in plain sight.
And we can tell that this is something that's going to be hard for you to talk about, but we can tell you that you're not telling the truth about remembering this event.
I do not remember this.
On the videos, on several of them.
Yeah.
In my movies, sadly, everybody dies. Bitch, what are my followers going to think of you? People need to know when they're being serial killed. These are things you're saying to her while you're doing that.
Why would I say that? That's stupid to say things like that.
You weren't anticipating that we were going to get a hold of this card, and you weren't anticipating that the railroad was going to drive by and see bones laying on the side of the railroad track. You didn't anticipate that. What
do you think a normal person, reasonable person, if I came out and I found a dead body in the back seat of my car or in the back of my truck, what would a reasonable person who's never had any contact with the law, as far as I know, right? Never had any negative contact with the law. There's video there that would explain it, right? If somebody put that body in the back of your truck, why would you not call it? A reasonable person would call the police and say, hey, I found a dead body. What they wouldn't do is wait 2 days, keep the dead body in the back of their car, drive it home, park it in the driveway, and then take it out to a spot and not only dump the body over the guardrail, but take the other stuff that's with her to a different place. What does that look like? And then take pictures of her in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
So nobody else could have done that.
For investigators, the hidden side of Brian Stephen Smith was finally coming into focus. The evidence revealed how meticulously he had separated his double life, one of domestic normalcy and the other of calculated violence. But now, those worlds were colliding beyond his control. Smith's story began far from Alaska, in South Africa. Life there had taken a harsh turn. A failed business venture left him financially ruined and searching for a way out. That escape came in the form of Stephanie, a folk singer from Anchorage, whom he met through an online game. What began as casual conversation quickly grew into a deeper connection. Stephanie, older and spirited, felt deeply for him. For Brian, the relationship offered a fresh start, a chance to leave a broken past behind. After relocating to Alaska, Smith found solace in the wilderness, its vastness reminiscent of home. But life with Stephanie wasn't as idyllic as it appeared. He struggled to adjust to her world. Surrounded by her close-knit, welcoming circle of friends, Brian remained an outsider, never fully fitting in.
Did you do this to her because you were angry at your wife?
No.
And your wife rejected you, and you were, what?
No, my wife has never rejected me, but my wife actually, she wants to have a more physical relationship. But
it hasn't been happening, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been happening. It's difficult it's complicated to understand. I once told her that she spoiled sex because it's such a procedure to get the whole thing going, you know?
The age gap between Brian and Stephanie only deepened the disconnect. While Stephanie sought stability and companionship, Brian's restlessness led him elsewhere, down a darker path.
Who's that?
That's a girl that I met, and we screwed a little bit, and once more time I cheated on my wife with this one, and she was passed out drunk.
Yeah. And when was that?
This was actually recently, a few weeks ago.
After or before you were at the hotel?
After this, yeah. She was drunk out of her mind.
So after this, where did you meet her at? So did you pick her up?
Yeah, this girl I picked up, yeah.
Where'd you go?
I can't remember.
It wasn't long before he met Alicia Youngblood, a younger colleague who offered not just an escape, but a dangerous thrill. Their connection began casually, as drinking companions, but quickly evolved into a secretive and intense relationship built on risk and shared fascination with the macabre. Alicia was drawn to violence and chaos. She often recounted dramatic tales, stories of being pursued by the FBI and robbing banks. Brian knew they were fabrications, but he didn't care.
In my mind, I was gloating to, well, not gloating, but I was, Alicia and I were doing our little jokes about things. This instant here, my little private joke in my head was that I actually took her to a real site, she thought that we were both joking about it. You know, because like I said, we were joking about all of our little things, you know.
But you made up the other part about where it happened and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the other stuff I made up. And it was, this just happened to be real, you know.
Her fantasies gave him the space to invent his own. In one of their conversations, Brian claimed he had killed someone. Rather than recoil, Alicia was captivated. Encouraged by her reaction, Brian took a disturbing step further. He brought her to the site where he had disposed of a body.
I actually took Alicia there because I was boasting.
You took her to
yeah, I was boasting to her, but I knew. But this is like a year after, or 2 years after.
So you took her there about a year after it happened.
I knew it wasn't there. I knew the person wasn't there because I'd driven past a few times. From the road, I could see that what I'd covered with was not there anymore.
Okay, so somebody had found it.
So that's why I know you guys must have found it.
Somebody found the remains before you took Alicia out there a year later.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you were out there and noticed that it was found?
I think I actually went past a few months later, like 3-4 months afterwards.
Okay, and so you took Alicia out there would have been in this time of year, maybe in 18? July, August of 18?
Yeah, around about this time, yeah, because it was close to, yes, she left in August. So it was, this whole thing of ours was like, because we knew we were leaving, she's leaving and stuff, so our whole thing like transcended the month before August.
For Brian Stephen Smith, the affair with Alicia Youngblood wasn't just about physical attraction. It was about control, secrecy, and the thrill of leading a double life. Alicia's influence drew him deeper into a world where fantasy and reality began to blur. Each fabricated story, each shared secret, strengthened their bond. But this was no ordinary relationship. It was a volatile and dangerous game, and the boundary between fiction and truth was quickly vanishing. Investigators later discovered that Smith had been active on Quora under the alias Bradley Phillips. On the question and answer platform, his post revealed disturbing insights into his mindset, laced with bitterness, resentment, and hate. It offered a glimpse into a darker persona lurking behind his composed public image. Detectives recognized the duality of the man they were dealing with. On one hand, the polite husband and dependable employee. On the other, a secretive and calculated predator. Leaning into this psychological divide, they appealed to the good Brian, urging him to confess to the crimes committed by his darker side. Smith knew he was cornered. The mounting evidence was overwhelming, and he had no plausible explanation to escape it.
What do you think of yourself?
I don't like it. I'm disgusted that I've done something like this.
Do you think that, and I'm not saying it was entirely intentional, but do you think that you, the good Brian that we're talking to, apparently we haven't seen the bad Brian yet because bad Brian did this. Do you think good Brian wanted bad Brian to get caught? That's why somebody made it so easy for us?
So, yes, so we're not at a stalemate. I've done that. I just don't know why.
You just have no explanation for good or bad of why
It's
you did it, why it happened.
Yeah. The photographs are stupid. You say that somebody took the SD card out of my truck and I said, no, give it back, it belongs to work or something. That's what you said. If I knew, if I was trying to hide away and not get caught, I would not let something like it happen. I wouldn't have
Seems
an SD
careless.
card. I wouldn't have an SD card.
But all this seems careless too.
Very, yeah. That's somebody that wants to get caught. And you're in a hotel room, for God's sake.
In your own hotel, in your own chain of, using your own name with your own employee discount.
Yeah.
With your own truck. Documenting every step of what you did.
After hours of interrogation, Brian Stephen Smith finally gave detectives what they had been working toward, a full confession.
I hope that someday, when you are ready to talk about this, that you're willing to do that so that we can learn and so that we can understand that. Because what we've been doing for the last week or days is looking at that thing, that video and those photographs, studying you and trying to figure it out. So if you ever get to that point where you're willing to talk and tell us why, if you can figure that out,
I owe you that.
I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Keep that with you.
Well, if I'm going to prison, I'm not going to...
You'll get to keep that. You get to make phone calls.
I got no one to talk to now.
What's that?
I've got no one to talk to now, so none of my friends will ever...
Well,
this is my fault. I've dug my own grave here. I did this to myself. I can't blame anybody else, you know. So, Brendan, yeah.
The one thing I wanted to ask you is your truck. Did you ever wash it out, spray it out, anything like that?
After she was
dumped
in
the
it.
body.
Are we going to find biological evidence in your truck? Did you bleach it? Did you wash it?
At the back, I had a piece of carpeting at the back, and there was a bit of blood on it. So I cut that piece of carpet out and I tossed it in a dumpster, and I did spray bleach on there to try and kill the germs and whatever. That was a wise thing to do, unlike everything else. So you'll see the back of my truck. It's cut. You know.
It appeared the case was coming to a close. They had their suspect, the evidence, and now the admission.
So what we have is a search warrant that we're going to serve on you, and it's basically as simple as collecting a sample of your DNA, which is swabbing the inside of your mouth. We're going to get some photographs of you while you're clothed and while you're unclothed.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there and explain what's going to happen next. So.
And we're going to take your shoes. We're going to have, and then we're going to ultimately take your clothes, just because we have the search warrant for that. All right.
Are you going to take me off to prison?
Yes, that's the step at the end of this night.
Okay. So I'm not going to see my wife again.
Well, that depends on what she does. I don't know if they're done talking to her. I don't know what the extent of that is. I doubt very much we're done at your house. So we're seizing everything. We have a search warrant to search the house. We've taken the truck. We have a search warrant to search the truck, obviously for biological evidence. And I don't know what all we're going to find. Or what else? Are we going to find anything else in those searches?
I don't know.
You don't know? Have you ever killed anybody else? I'll just be straight up with you.
No.
Are we going to find any evidence that you're attached to any missing persons either here or South Africa?
No.
But just as the interview was wrapping up, Smith delivered an unexpected revelation, one that would shake the entire investigation. He confessed to another murder, one the detectives hadn't even suspected.
Are you guys in a rush to go home?
Are we in a rush?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk some more?
We're not in a rush. We got
all night.
I have 2 days.
I saw your ears do that.
You know what? I mean, that's what we do. We love to talk.
Some time ago, I can't remember when, picked up a very drunk girl. My wife was gone. She was away for the weekend. I took her home. And
Up to that point, Smith had remained oddly composed. Now he calmly described a second victim in chilling detail. The realization hit quickly. This wasn't an isolated crime. They were dealing with a serial killer.
Going to find any evidence that you're attached to any missing persons either here or South Africa?
no, that's big talk. That I told you that was just big talk between.
Okay, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't.
Yeah,
ask.
you have to ask. Yeah,
Right, because the video that we watch, frankly, it doesn't look like an amateur. Everything else does, but it doesn't look like the person in that video. It doesn't look like it's the first time they've killed somebody. You're enjoying yourself killing her.
Smith's confession didn't end the case. It blew it wide open. What followed was a breakthrough moment. The investigation had only just begun, and Smith made it clear. There were more victims still to uncover.
I know you guys are doing good cop, bad cop.
We're not really trying to do that. We're both pretty good cops, I think.
I say we're pretty good, yeah.
That's what I can't understand. You're both trying to be good. Who's the
Well,
bad?
we are just good. We don't do the good cop.
And I appreciate that, and everything you've done I really appreciate that. I know I'm gonna burn already, so, and I don't want you to have to waste your time.
We appreciate that.
But yeah, so I shot this girl, and then I went and dumped her out on that little side road going towards Butte. When you turn off the highway.
By the excluding power plant?
Yeah, around about that area, yeah. You must have found her.
We may have. How long ago was that about?
Oh my God, 3 years ago. It was a long time ago.
What time of year was it?
It wasn't winter because it was green.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fall or summer?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm really sorry. When I say I don't know, I mean it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate it.
I'm saying really all the time.
I can believe that. It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
With his wife out of town, Brian Stephen Smith went out in search of alcohol.
Yeah. My wife is gone. Yeah.
Do you remember where she went?
No, but she usually goes to her aunt in Kodiak. She usually goes and visits there now.
Her aunt?
Yeah.
Okay.
This girl was. I'd also just gone to the Safeway to go get something, and as I was driving off, she was on the side there, and she actually seemed like a nice person, and she wanted booze. I knew that. She was drunk. She had a half a bottle of R&R on her there, and I think that's actually why I stopped, because I had some booze, but I didn't know if I had enough. So I was like, that attracted me to her. I picked her up and I said, "Hey, you want some warm food and a warm place to sleep tonight?" And she was like, "Yes, sure." And she jumped in, but she was really drunk. She was slurring it.
While walking the streets, he encountered a woman and brought her back to his home. Nervous about leaving any trace, he told her to take a shower, fearing his wife might detect another presence. When she refused, the situation escalated. Smith retrieved his pistol from the garage and again ordered her to the shower. What happened next took a dark and irreversible turn.
I took her home and she fell asleep on the couch in front of the TV, and she was smelling. I knew she was homeless then. She was stinking, and I was getting upset. And I said to her, "Go take a shower," because now there's smell in the house. Stephanie would smell like there was a homeless person in the house. Mm-hmm. And she wouldn't do it. She kept saying, no. And I was worried that she's going to vomit now, because then I realized that she really had been drinking a lot. No excuse, but I'd also been drinking a hell of a lot. Like I said, when Stephanie goes, that's Brian time, or as you call it, Brad time, I can let my hair down, I can just relax and get rid of the whole stress of being married all the time. And I don't know. I clearly remember this. And again, I'm not lying to you. I don't remember. I can't visualize this girl. But I went through to the garage and I got my little pistol there. And I said to her, go shower, and she wouldn't. And I just did that. And I
While she was on the couch?
Yeah. I just shot her. There was no... The messed up thing, I can tell you honestly, there was no emotion there. It was just... You're not listening to me, go shower, you're not listening to me. You know, I knew that the longer she stays there, the worse trouble I'm going to get in with Stephanie.
Unaware of the double life her husband was leading, Smith's wife never suspected a thing. Meanwhile, detectives conducted a 12-hour search of their home, seizing electronics and multiple SD cards, critical pieces of evidence that would soon expose the full scope of Smith's crimes.
One of the things that we're doing, obviously, when in searching your house and searching your electronics, is looking through that. Is there any other evidence or things on your computers or your phones or anything else that are similar to this? Any videos of you doing anything? Any photographs of dead people? Anything like that they're going to find that we need to know about?
No. Like I said, the only thing is that girl that was on that sheet, that was under that suffocating girl. I might have saved that. Okay, and you will find some videos of me and Alicia.
The findings aligned precisely with his confession. 6 months earlier, a human skull had been discovered at a location Smith later referenced. As he had described, the skull bore a gunshot wound, confirming his account and solidifying the horror of what investigators were uncovering.
So
if we got you a computer with Google Maps or something on it, would you be able to and be willing to show us about where you think you might have?
Yeah, I can show you further out
there. We appreciate that.
During the search of Brian Stephen Smith's home, investigators uncovered another SD card, this one containing footage of a woman lying naked on the floor. Forensic analysis later confirmed the victim as Veronica Abachuk, a local woman who had vanished from the streets of Anchorage. The discovery struck a deeply personal chord. Veronica had been the best friend of Valerie, the same homeless woman who had turned in the original SD card to Detective Brendan Lee. Despite their struggles with alcohol, Valerie and Veronica shared a deep, familial bond. Valerie vividly recalled their last conversation. Veronica had said she was heading to La Cristo to get a bottle and meet someone. She never imagined that someone would be Brian Stephen Smith, or that it would be the final time she'd see her friend.
Veronica was my best friend, and I loved the hell out of her. I knew her daughters, you know. They wasn't working girls. They were just women that had drinking problems, you know. I remember the last time I talked to her. She said she was going to the liquor store. She's going to get a bottle. And she had to go meet up with somebody. That must have been him, because that was the last time I ever saw her.
Brian Stephen Smith, a 48-year-old South African immigrant who had recently become a U.S. citizen, was formally charged and pleaded not guilty in court. Despite having confessed to both murders, Brian Stephen Smith later attempted to distance himself from the crimes. During a press conference, Anchorage's deputy district attorney announced that a grand jury had indicted Smith on 13 felony charges. Smith had admitted to being the man in the video, to sneaking a body out of the hotel, placing it in his truck, and later dumping it. He also confessed to the murder of Veronica Abachuk. With his confession and photographic evidence, detectives were confident they had their man and the case appeared nearly closed. But in court, Smith offered a surprising defense. He claimed the confession was merely part of a role-play scenario he had created with Alicia Youngblood. According to him, the story involving Veronica, bringing her home and shooting her, was fictional, a cover to protect himself from what Alicia might say. However, at the time of his confession, Alicia was unaware the police were investigating him. Following Smith's arrest, she came forward and shared her version of events, casting further doubt on his claims and strengthening the case against him. Alicia Youngblood became a crucial witness. Nervous but cooperative, she told police that Smith had shown her a disturbing video of a dead woman. filmed with a GoPro. The footage convinced her the murder was real.
Would you remember her hair length? Anything distinctive about her clothing she might have been wearing?
No. No.
Remember her name?
No.
Do you remember reading anything about any remains being found?
No. And I actually did look.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I did lie to you guys. Those pictures I showed Alicia, they were the real ones.
Of what? So that was a real photo of you doing that to the person you shot. Was that before or after you shot her?
After.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I actually did show that to Alicia, but I deleted those photos.
From what? What were those photos on?
They were on one of my old computers that I sold a long time ago already.
Once infatuated with Smith, Alicia cut ties after seeing the video. She tried to get more evidence from him, but he had grown cautious. In October 2019, the trial for the murders of Veronica Abachuk and Kathleen Henry began. Smith's double life was finally exposed. Witnesses took the stand, and prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence, photos, videos, and confessions, all pointing to his guilt. Smith remained calm in court as each detail brought him closer to justice. It almost appeared as though Brian Stephen Smith believed he could outrun the truth. But the most damning evidence came from the prosecution's star witness, Smith himself. His own words, his recorded actions, the videos recovered from his phone, and his detailed confessions left no room for doubt. A jury of 12 deliberated and swiftly returned their verdict, guilty on all counts. The sentence was severe, 226 years in prison. It was a life sentence in every sense, with no possibility of parole. Smith's double life had finally collapsed, and justice had been served for his victims. Throughout his relationship with Alicia Youngblood, Smith had been careful never to leave behind any concrete evidence linking him to his crimes. After distancing herself from him, Alicia eventually left Alaska. Authorities later received news that she had died in Oklahoma. Her death ruled a suicide, a tragic end for someone who had once tried to expose the truth. Then in 2024, another chilling revelation emerged. A woman was positively identified from a series of photos found on Smith's phone. In several images, she appeared either unconscious or deceased, suggesting there were still more victims left to uncover. Cassandra Boskowski has been missing since 2018, and her family strongly believes that Brian Stephen Smith is responsible for her disappearance.
Since that time in 2019, Cassandra Boskowski has not been seen by anyone. No one has heard from Cassandra.
In photographs, Cassandra Boskowski smiles widely at the camera.
The evidence gathered in Smith's case points to a disturbing pattern, a compulsion that neither began nor ended with the known victims: Kathleen Henry, Veronica Abachuk, and Cassandra Boskowski. The volume of SD cards recovered from his home suggests he evaded detection for far too long. This case is not only a record of past horrors, but a stark warning of what can still occur if vigilance fades. The search for truth is far from over. As South African authorities begin investigating Smith's past and cold cases are being reopened, the emergence of more victims no longer feels speculative, it feels inevitable. Do you believe Brian Stephen Smith would have ever been caught if Valerie hadn't found that SD card? What do you think drives someone to lead such a chilling double life? Calm on the surface, monstrous underneath. If this story left you speechless, you're not alone. There's still so much more to uncover. This case isn't closed, and the truth may go even deeper. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more real-life crime stories that reveal the darkness hidden in plain sight. Stay safe, stay aware.
On the evening of March 31, 2022, a desk officer in Milwaukee was about to uncover a deeply unsettling truth.
But you... Yeah, I shot my girl a day and a half ago.
So you shot her?
Yes, I did.
What, you got ID on you? Where happened that? What's your last name?
Nick.
MIT.
President.
Initially under the impression that the man before him was simply offering details about an already reported case, The officer began running his information through the department's database, but what unfolded next would shift the tone of the entire interaction.
What address was you at?
Were you supposed to turn yourself in here or one of the jails? House for
I just walked up here, man.
Oh. What are you turning yourself in for?
I shot my girl.
You did what?
Shot my girl. We was horse playing and gun went off and shot her.
Okay. How long ago was this?
This was a day and a half. I stood with her for a while. Just.
Did police come out for that or?
No, I'm just not coming up here for that.
Oh, where is she?
She's still there.
Is she alive?
No.
Oh. Okay.
They never did a report or nothing?
No.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for. I thought that that's
Okay. Turn around for me. Don't come in the front, man. It hurts.
No, we got to do it in the back, man. Sorry.
I thought that's all I was looking for. That's all I was looking for. Yo, put some cuffs on me.
Yeah, we'll put two cuffs on you.
Yeah, I got you. I get my black one. Yeah, I was looking to see. I thought it was like a previous, Did she go to the hospital or anything?
She's still at her problem, man. Like I said, I gotta get out of there for,
Where did you shoot her at?
We were playing at the bedroom, and I stopped in the living room, and she started bleeding, so I took to the basement. She's just right there by the singing right now.
I ain't got nothing on you. Okay. You said she down in the basement. Okay.
I don't know what she's looking like right now. I was down there for about 7 hours.
Yeah.
And I walked her I'm knowing my life is gone.
It take a real man to come in, admit what they did, if it's an accident, it's an accident. Only you, her, and God know what really happened. I commend you for that.
I want her family to, her to be messed up.
Is the gun still at the house? Where the gun at?
I drove to, off of 50th and stopped in the dumpster after I left from the house.
Okay.
53rd or 50 somewhere in there, man. I was just...
Okay.
I was just running for about it. See what's going on.
Anybody else know about this? Just you and her? And God?
That's another thing.
Yeah.
This will be my life forever now. Look at the key right here.
I got which key is it?
The only one on it, basically.
Okay. Yeah. This one right here?
Yeah.
I'm there.
We have permission to go.
I was just telling her the door down.
Yeah, go over here.
I feel bad for her. Everything. About 80 years later.
Hey, to be honest with you, that's up to the judge. As long as you be honest with everything that went down. Like I said, it's only you God and her that know what's going on. As long as you be honest and tell them where different stuff at, what occurred.
Yeah.
That's gonna help you out. So I'm good. Yeah, I was waiting on Weatherby. Yeah, he trying to figure some. Yeah, we good.
You need this
Yeah. Nah, he I'm gonna. You could have a seat over here. I'm at the gym. You please stand up. No, I'm not. No, you said. I just want you to I want you to be comfortable. I ain't like that. Like I said, it take a real man to do what you just did.
Yeah, just I hurt my family.
Yeah. 2 a.m. So this Thursday. It happened Tuesday or yesterday? It's Thursday now. Yesterday or Tuesday? So Tuesday.
Yeah.
So Wednesday. So technically yesterday morning.
Yeah.
2 in the morning yesterday. Okay.
I'm lost up here.
Yeah. No, you good. No. I'm just trying to get a time.
Yeah, I want to have more about.
Yeah. And you said where was she shot at? No, I'm saying where in the body? In the head? Just one shot? Okay. What kind of gun was it? 380. You know what brand? Yeah, that's why I was back there trying to run your name. I'm like, because, you know, people come in here and turn themselves in all the time. I just, it's my bad for misunderstanding. Yeah.
What?
Is it a single family house? Or up and lower?
Up and lower.
Up and lower?
I appreciate you not being here.
Oh, no. Hey, regardless of the situation, as long as you cool, I'm gonna be cool. I ain't even like that. At the end of the day, we all human. We all make mistakes. Like I said, it take a real man to come here and do that. I wish it was a little earlier for you, you know. But I mean, and Trey, you still came here. At the end of the day, you could have did so many other things.
In the bag, so we're sending it now.
This your five? These your candy. I'll put it in your pocket.
After the man, identified as Ellis, appeared to confess to a violent act, 4 officers were dispatched to his residence. Armed with keys Ellis had voluntarily handed over, their goal was to locate his missing girlfriend, whom he now claimed was deceased.
Alrighty, man. You got the keys? Here comes Is it turning?
Yeah, it's turning.
Well, what's going on? I saw, I guess one of the updates we got is the body's by a sink or something, or maybe in the basement.
There's a body in there, you say?
Yeah, do you know what you're saying here?
No.
Oh, no way?
No.
A guy walked in our district saying he shot his girlfriend a couple of days ago, and he's been sleeping with her ever since then, but he came in to report that he shot her, so we're going to look for a dead body.
So it's completely true. I can tell you that right now. It's completely true.
I don't know with this one, man. It's
Okay, this key's not working for whatever. You think that worked for the back door at all?
I can see. Yeah, we got limited information, but this is all just like happening right now. Find out which door he goes in. We're having trouble with the locks. There's a side door and a front door, and ask him which lock, if it's the deadbolt or the doorknob that he unlocks.
The door in the front to the right.
Yeah, ask him whether it's the deadbolt or the doorknob.
However, when they arrived at the property, they found themselves unable to access the home using the provided keys. With time and concern mounting, they were forced to find another way inside.
Hey, working.
Yeah. Alright. Who's doing it? Of course.
You the biggest one.
Police!
Milwaukee police! Hang on, we got breaching tools if you want.
Do you?
Hang on, let me call. There you go. Never mind. Milwaukee police! Milwaukee police!
It's a basement.
Milwaukee Police Department, announce yourself if you're in here. We know you're in here, announce yourself. You guys want to clear that room? I'll hold this. Yeah. Milwaukee Police, we know you're in here, announce yourself.
It's a room to the right. Bathroom over here.
All right.
Clear as of right now.
Milwaukee Police, we know you are in here, announce yourself. Does it come through to the kitchen?
I'll clear this.
Hold on, at least a whole bunch of other rooms.
Police! Milwaukee Police, we know you're in here, announce yourself.
I'm on the other side of you, I'm on the other side.
You're on the other side of that door?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm coming back out.
You said what day?
I said, just told him coming back out. So I didn't clear. I think there's another bedroom over there. I just didn't want to get shot by you guys, you know.
Okay. Milwaukee Police, we know you're in here. Police, we know you're in here.
Milwaukee Police, if you're down here, announce yourself now. Good?
Yeah.
Room to the right. Oh,
Oh, yep, there's a dead body down here.
God damn it.
We're gonna need more squad. 7286. Yeah, we're gonna need more squads here. There's gonna be a confirmed PMB female in the basement.
It looks P&B, pretty good.
Yeah.
Body P&B in the basement here. Can you get us a couple more squads and a boss?
Nothing else back there?
No.
At the location. Are you not an injury?
What's the injury? Hold on. A6 standby for injury. You wanna bring your light over here?
I mean, it looks like a GSW to the head.
Yeah. But I just don't want to leave.
We're not gonna move the body, but appears to be blood from the head region, so GSW to the head.
Yes, Dad.
Affirmative. Crazy.
The victim was later identified as Angela Lane. She was discovered in the basement, clothed in loungewear, with the upper half of her body positioned inside a plastic utility sink. Officers secured the remainder of the basement as they waited for additional personnel to arrive on scene.
Our victim's going to be a black female, probably around 30 years old, not conscious, not breathing. It's been here for a couple days now. They only have a duty custody. Just get his info, see if they got her info.
All right.
Has anybody made contact with the upper?
No, I've been down here just blocking all this off.
Let's make contact with the upper, make sure nobody's injured or anything up there.
In a disturbing twist, authorities noted that tenants were residing in the upper unit of the duplex, seemingly unaware of the grim scene unfolding below.
Right there? Have you heard any gunshots? You and your wife, and you're both okay? There's been a shooting and someone's in the basement shot, okay? You ever heard any gunshots? Anytime in the last 60 days, anything? If you got any questions, you guys have a front door? Okay, use that. Use that if you gotta get outside and ask me any questions or anything, okay? Don't come down this hall. Thank you.
I don't know if it's her baby daddy or boyfriend walked into our district and said that he shot her a day and a half ago.
Oh, well then. Why do people keep coming into districts like this?
I want to make it easy on us. I want to make sure our numbers aren't
And then we obviously
going down.
According to the criminal complaint, Ellis provided a detailed account of the incident. He claimed that the events began as a moment of horseplay between himself and Lane. During the exchange, he allegedly pointed a firearm at her head in what he described as a joke, his finger resting on the trigger, after she had playfully directed profanities toward him. Ellis stated that Lane slapped at the weapon, causing it to discharge and strike her in the head. Overcome with panic, Ellis reported moving her body from the bedroom to a chair in the living room as he observed significant blood loss. He then carried her to the basement, placing her upper body over the sink to contain the bleeding. In the aftermath, Ellis cleaned traces of blood from various parts of the home using a cleaning solution. He then remained in the basement for several hours, smoking and sitting in silence, trying to decide what to do next. Eventually, Ellis left the residence, taking the firearm with him and disposing of it. The following day, he contacted his sister, who then drove him to the Milwaukee police station, bringing the case to the point where it first came to light. Detectives later noted that at no point did Ellis attempt any life-saving measures or call emergency medical services following the shooting. For his actions, he was charged with 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide, with an added penalty enhancer for the use of a dangerous weapon. Just days after his arrest, Ellis entered a plea of not guilty. He was sentenced to 33 years in prison, followed by an additional 10 years of extended supervision. The court granted him 385 days of credit for time already served. Due to the severity of the crime, classified as a Class B felony, and the judge's decision to deem him ineligible for sentence-reducing programs, Ellis is expected to serve his full term. As a result, he is not projected to be released until April 2055, at which point he will be 75 years old. His probation would then extend until he reaches the age of 85. In addition to his prison sentence, Ellis was ordered to pay nearly $2,000 in restitution to one individual, along with approximately $800 in court fees and fines. In the aftermath of Angela Lane's death, local news outlets documented a candlelight vigil held in her memory, where family and friends gathered to honor her life.
This is so saddening. It's too much. I'm just so broken that this could happen to her. She didn't even have a life to live at 29 years old.
She's always the one that's caring, loving, and got something for anybody. What I know is when she called out for help, nobody helped her. What I know is my auntie died crying.
It's a lot of people out here that's gonna love you. A lot of people. We don't gotta put up with this. We don't gotta put up getting beat up on. We don't gotta put up getting shot at.
At the end of the day, our black families out here are dying due to domestic violence, due to gun violence.
In the days and weeks leading up to Angela Lane's death, a series of social media posts surfaced. Messages that, in hindsight, served as an unsettling foreshadowing of the tragedy that was to come. According to the Milwaukee Homicide Database, Angela was one of 224 confirmed homicide victims in the city that year, marking the highest annual total in recent history. Notably, Ellis had no known criminal record in the state of Wisconsin prior to this incident, making the violent nature of the crime all the more shocking. As of now, Ellis's case remains under review by the Wisconsin Court of Appeals. He is seeking to overturn his conviction, though the final outcome of that appeal has yet to be determined. Do you believe Ellis's actions after the shooting, cleaning the scene and not calling for help, were those of someone truly panicked, or someone trying to cover up a crime? Should the court have allowed Ellis eligibility for sentence-reducing programs, considering he had no prior criminal record? If this case left you with questions, thoughts, or theories, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another true crime breakdown.
Yeah, see the body.
See there?
Yeah.
That's him.
Definitely did. All we want is the truth.
Man, I'm telling you, all I know is the guy told me that they were suspects in a murder case. The first thing that popped in my head was that gun. It was not in the box where it was always at, and I don't know what the is going on, but I want to know.
This is the story of Samantha Wolford, a young mother, wife, and aspiring YouTuber, who would ultimately be unmasked as the mastermind behind a chilling crime. Her arrival at the Titus County Sheriff's Office appeared routine, merely a standard interview following the reported abduction of her husband during an alleged home invasion. But behind the facade lay a dark and calculated scheme that would soon unravel. The crime itself was disturbingly cruel, the kidnapping of a young father in a desperate search to find him before time ran out. But to understand the full weight of what transpired, one must rewind nearly 6 years earlier. At just 19 years old, Samantha was a single mother raising 10-month-old twin girls when she met 23-year-old Ernie Ibarra Jr., affectionately known as Doggin by those close to him. Their connection was swift, leading to a relationship, then marriage, and eventually 3 children together. Residing in the quiet town of Mount Pleasant, Texas, the couple appeared to be doing their best to build a stable life. Yet beneath the surface, their relationship was fraught with tension and strain. Over time, the fractures in their marriage deepened. What began as ordinary marital discord would spiral into a deadly conspiracy, one that would leave a family shattered and a small community reeling in disbelief.
Titus County 911, what's your emergency?
I have a home invasion. My niece is tied up. I am at the verge of untying my niece at this particular moment.
Okay, she's tied up.
She is tied up and gagged.
And gagged? Is that what
yes,
you said?
Ma'am.
Is there anybody else there?
Where are the kids? We have 5 small infants asleep.
5 small infants asleep?
Yes, ranging from 7 to 1.
7 to 1 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
Does she know,
Samantha, did you know who the suspects are?
can I talk to her? Is she able to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Hi, Samantha. I know you're upset, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Do you need EMS?
No, they didn't do anything to me. They hit me once.
She's advising no, they only hit her once. Okay.
And I just asked my aunt if it was bruising or anything, and she said no, they hit me in the face.
Okay, they hit you in the face?
Yeah, they had me tied up, and they dragged me down the stairs to face my husband. And when my husband went in to face me, they hit me in the face, like, backhand slapped me. And so he looked at me then, and they said, I thought that would get your attention, and I want you to stare at this woman. Do you want us to kill her? And he said, no. And they said, then tell us the truth. And he said, I don't know anything.
When a caller offers an overwhelming amount of detail during a 911 call, it can sometimes signal deception. The primary objective of contacting emergency services is to request immediate assistance, not to recount a lengthy theatrical account of events. In Samantha Wolford's case, she was no longer in immediate danger. Her focus, logically, should have been on locating her missing husband. But instead of urging authorities to act quickly, she drifted into an elaborate story, filled with unnecessary specifics and lacking any real urgency. This tendency to over-explain can be a red flag. Individuals fabricating a story often feel compelled to bolster their lies with excessive detail, as if trying to convince themselves as much as the responder. For Samantha, whose love of acting was no secret, it seemed more like a performance than a plea for help.
I've always wanted to be an actress. I think it is so much fun. I've been extras in movies. I've had small parts in like short films, and I've done plays. I think it is so much fun, and it is so beautiful. It is one of the most amazing forms of art ever, to be able to express yourself that way. I think it's amazing.
Shortly after 2 a.m., deputies from the Titus County Sheriff's Office arrived at the scene. What awaited them was a chaotic aftermath that demanded immediate action. A violent home invasion had reportedly taken place, and Ernie Ibarra Jr. was now missing. The following moments, captured on body camera footage by Corporal Chris Durant and Deputy Ed Godoy, reveal the raw, unfiltered response of law enforcement mere minutes after the chilling events unfolded.
Sheriff's Office.
I'm upstairs. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Here.
Are you still talking with Sheriff?
They told me that I have to stay.
She tell her you're here.
I did.
She's still picking
She
on
said
her.
she still has a few questions for me before I can get off.
Let me have it and I'll take care of it, and you talk to them.
So, walk me through what happened.
I don't honestly know what happened. I was in bed asleep, and we heard a noise, and the second I was able to open my eyes, somebody grabbed me and jerked me out of the bed and slammed me down on the ground and started tying me up and put a knife to my throat and told me don't move.
Okay.
They were punching him over and over and over, and just he was fighting back, and I was just letting him do it. And
What's your husband's name?
Ernest Ibarra.
Ernest Ibarra? Okay.
At this stage, the officer is conducting a routine field interview, but it's important to note that such statements can later be used in legal proceedings. Body camera footage becomes a critical tool, allowing investigators to identify discrepancies between a suspect's initial account and their later statements under formal interrogation.
One of them did say the name Luke, but that's it. That was all. That's only in identifying anything I've got. One of them said, "Hey, Luke," and the guy turned, but that's the only identifying anything I've got.
During the exchange, Samantha alters her voice to mimic the alleged intruder, an unusual and theatrical gesture that seems aimed at dramatizing the event rather than conveying genuine fear. Though her tone is emotionally charged, her words betray a lack of urgency or deep concern for her missing husband, Dagen. Instead, she appears more preoccupied with recounting her own version of the incident in vivid detail. Investigators soon learn that Dagen's phone was reportedly taken by the intruders.
And They took his phone, but they didn't take mine. I had mine hidden. So I was able to.
So he's got his phone?
No, they have his phone.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. What's his phone number? Huh? Well, I need that number. Get that number from me.
They cut my shirt off, and then after they made me stand there naked in front of him, threatening to do things to me. The guy said,
You were outside or here inside?
I was in the living room. When they took me to the living room, he said, get you a shirt and get it quick, because I'm not this type of person. So I started rummaging through my closet. He said, I said get it quick, and pushed the knife against my throat. So I just grabbed whatever shirt and put it on. But he grabbed my shirt and he started cutting it. He cut it down the collar, and then he said,
what's your name?
Samantha.
Samantha
Wolford.
Wolford.
Where's that shirt at? Is it downstairs? What color is it?
It's gray sweater.
Gray sweater? Okay.
That's what I was sleeping in.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the front door's been kicked in.
While one officer dictates observations of the crime scene over dispatch, Samantha turns her attention to a matter of her own, sending out a curious text message.
All right, this is what we need to do. I need to do an emergency phone ping. Yeah, and I've got the cell phone number.
Simultaneously, the phone service provider is contacted in hopes of tracing Dagan's device and pinpointing his location before time runs out.
Was the spray paint already on the walls?
Yeah, somebody broke in over Christmas time, or over Halloween time, and did that. He's already been out here once over this. They cut his hair off. I don't know why.
That's
his hair.
That's his hair?
That's his hair.
Okay.
And he said...
And you said those are the pants you had on?
He said you're going to want something of your husband, and choked a piece of his hair off and threw it on the floor.
And you said those are his pants that he had on?
Yeah.
Where's the sweater you had on?
I think that's it on the dining room floor. Or on the chair.
On the chair?
Gray sweater, got a cut all over it.
Okay.
I said I got another car pulling up. Let me go see who this is.
Due to the fact that I was dialing with my nose.
Hey, just stay out there for just a second for me, okay?
Can I go out there?
Well, let's get this checked out real quick. Because right now this is the most important thing, you know? Let's get this all figured out.
I don't see how me writing a statement is in the crucial hours of you finding my husband.
It is, because I mean, this may help you trigger something to help us, you know.
Is that 2:02 a.m.? His cell phone ping 0.86 miles from a residence in Pittsburgh.
You know anybody in Pittsburgh?
Contact Pittsburgh.
Interestingly, Samantha does in fact have a known acquaintance in Pittsburgh, an odd but notable detail. As the deputy continues collecting her statement, Corporal Chris Durant turns his attention to Samantha's relatives on the scene, her mother, Rosie, and her Aunt Ginger, hoping their insights might provide additional context to this increasingly troubling case.
Sir. How you doing?
Just fine.
You're the one that found her?
Yes, she's the one that found her. I'm the one she called.
Okay. So she called you first?
She called me.
Okay.
Bound and gagged, and then she called me. We live in Winfield. Do we have any idea where her husband is?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
I'm assuming it has something to do with people that would be part of circle. That's the only thing I could possibly put together, is that it had something to do with people that knew.
Samantha tells deputies that the intruders specifically mentioned someone she knew, claiming this individual was the motive behind the attack on her husband. Out of respect for that person's privacy, and given that no evidence ever linked them to the crime, their name has been redacted from all official records. Despite this, Samantha will continue to reference them throughout the investigation, weaving their identity into her evolving narrative. At 3:19 a.m., she sends another text message, described as urgent, while investigators work to piece together the unfolding scene. Around this time, investigator Chris Bragg arrives and Corporal Durant begins briefing him on the situation. Bragg's immediate reaction is one of suspicion.
So they've got a pretty volatile past, and we've arrested him before.
Yeah.
Assaulting her and the infant. Make sure she didn't do something to him and then stage the scene to make it look like something happened.
As Bragg steps into the scene, he begins forming what's known in legal and investigative terms as a theory of the case. This process involves constructing a coherent narrative that links together physical evidence, witness statements, and circumstantial details, a framework that prosecutors will later rely on to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
He looked down and he had cuts on the top of his head, and they had him kneeling right here, and they cut part of his hair off.
Following a preliminary sweep of the first floor, Corporal Durant leads the investigator toward the staircase. At the top lies the master bedroom, the location where Samantha claims the terrifying encounter began. What investigators would find upstairs would be pivotal in determining whether Samantha's story held any truth, or was simply the opening act in a far more sinister plot.
So they kick the door and they come up these stairs. And get them before they're able to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's the only part that's getting me is how do you... They would have to either be familiar with the place to be able to do all that and know where they were asleep. And the babies are asleep in there.
Upon examining the area where all 5 children were sleeping, both members of the sheriff's office noted that the living conditions inside the home were far from suitable for young children. While the body camera footage fails to capture a clear view of the space, their reactions speak volumes. The scene raises quiet concern among the officers, an early but important detail that will later carry greater weight in the investigation.
Pitiful condition.
Yeah.
I'm not really seeing a whole lot of blood, though, for somebody that was pistol whipped.
As the investigation progresses, the lead investigator suggests that Samantha be brought upstairs to clarify certain elements of her account.
I haven't seen it or anything. All of that, I don't know what's going on with it or what could have possibly got himself tied into caused this. But they kept saying, cause this, cause this. Asking for compensation, $20,000.
Yeah. If you would just hold tight with her, so I'm gonna go get some evidence bags. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my camera. I'll be right back.
Are you guys trying to accuse me of something?
No.
It's here that her version of events begins to unravel. Her demeanor shifts, and inconsistencies emerge, classic signs of someone caught in a lie. Samantha's behavior aligns with what investigators often observe in deceptive subjects, attempts to recover composure while maintaining a false narrative. This moment serves as a critical reminder of a broader truth. Those under questioning should always exercise their right to legal counsel. The objectives of law enforcement during an active investigation are not always transparent. It's standard practice for officers to begin with a wide pool of potential suspects and gradually narrow it down, rather than assuming innocence from the outset. In such cases, individuals are often treated as suspects or material witnesses until proven otherwise.
What kind of gun is that?
The Glock.
Standard issued or?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see it?
Hmm?
Can I see it? Can you take it out?
No. Then I gotta do paperwork.
Really? I just was gonna see comparatively to the gun they had. I don't know guns, but the gun he had wasn't very big, or his hand wasn't very small, one or the other. It fit pretty closely to his hand size.
What stands out most in this interaction is Samantha's peculiar demeanor. Rather than urging officers to find her missing husband, she engages in casual conversation, offering small talk and appearing unusually composed. Her lack of urgency is striking. It's possible she believed that by remaining friendly and cooperative, she could divert suspicion. an effort that may have backfired as the officers began to take a closer look at her role in the unfolding events.
What them kept saying took someone from us. The only thing I can figure is they're saying like narked on someone. They said something about now he's behind bars.
What time did y'all go to bed last night?
Around 11.
Just hours before the reported home invasion, Samantha Wolford had given one version of events, but by the time morning arrived, her answers had already begun to shift.
How old your babies?
The youngest.
1. You got 4? 5? They were in there squirming a minute ago.
Let's see what is going on.
Investigators are doing their thing.
Despite the chaos that had supposedly unfolded in her home, Samantha displayed little concern for her children, and even less for the rapidly intensifying investigation. Her demeanor suggested impatience, as if the ordeal was a personal inconvenience rather than a crisis. What she failed to realize was that this was only the beginning. At 6:10 a.m., mere hours after the violent abduction of her husband, Ernie Doggin Ibarra Jr., Samantha arrived at the Titus County Sheriff's Office in northeastern Texas. It was there that the disturbing layers of this case would slowly begin to unravel.
About to curl up on the floor and go to sleep.
During her time at the station, Samantha placed a phone call to her mother. Strangely, the conversation was devoid of emotion. There were no tears, no panic, just a flat, almost indifferent tone.
I would like something to eat. I'm starving to death. Biscuits and gravy, no sausage. Biscuits and gravy, no sausage, and french fries.
What followed was even more unsettling. She gave her mother a food order. In a moment where fear, grief, or urgency would seem natural, Samantha was thinking about breakfast. Then, without explanation, she lay down on the floor of the interview room, a behavior that appeared oddly childlike and out of place. Rather than presenting as a distraught wife and mother of 5, Samantha's actions were more reminiscent of a disengaged teenager. Moments later, investigator Chris Bragg entered the room. What he would observe and uncover in the hours ahead would mark a turning point, not just in the investigation, but in the chilling narrative that was about to unfold.
Have you heard anything?
We're still working on everything. Get you walking. Sing for me.
I feel like there's something he hasn't been telling me, but I don't know what.
What's your gut feeling tell you?
I think it's something to do with.
What do you think would be going on?
I hate, and I'm usually right, and I hate that, but he has a problem with getting involved in things that you don't need to be getting involved with.
As the interview continues, Samantha appears to be laying the groundwork for a possible motive behind the alleged attack and abduction. She repeatedly references the same individual in her speculation, a detail that grows increasingly suspicious over time.
Has he been using any drugs?
No.
What about you?
No. And I can take a test right now.
Her statements take on a convincing tone, a subtle but significant red flag in deception analysis. Rather than offering direct, simple responses, Samantha seems compelled to elaborate, as though trying to preempt disbelief. This type of over-explanation is often linked to deception, where the speaker, anxious about being doubted, feels the need to bolster their story with unnecessary affirmations.
So have you had in the past used any drugs?
Me? No.
Never been involved in it?
One particularly telling moment comes when Samantha claims she has never used drugs. However, David Smith, a former acquaintance of both Samantha and Dagan, has made statements that directly contradict this claim, further calling her credibility into question.
Because there was one that come out there that drove a little silver Jeep Liberty. He was supposed to be some kin to her, supposedly. But I found out later from Jeremy Rule that he was her pill dealer.
In addition, Samantha alters key details of her timeline.
You remember about what time it was when you went to bed?
I looked up at the clock and it was like 12:01, and I was like, yeah, you've got to get to bed because you have to be up in 5.5 hours.
Sure.
She now states that she and Dagan went to bed at midnight, contradicting the 11 p.m. time she gave to responding officers at the crime scene. The shift, though subtle, marks the beginning of a pattern. Her story is already starting to change.
What's your first memory of what's going on? What's happening?
Well, I took an Ambien, so it makes it a little harder for me to wake up. And I have a prescription with me if you want to see that. But when I can't sleep, it's supposed to shut your brain down so you can go to sleep, but also make it to where you can wake up fairly easy.
Samantha continues to provide conflicting information, offering 2 more inconsistent statements in quick succession. Such contradictions often serve as warning signs in an investigation, as a single lie frequently requires additional falsehoods to maintain the illusion of truth. With each inconsistency, it becomes more difficult for the speaker to keep track of prior statements, increasing the likelihood of being caught in a contradiction. One particular inconsistency centers around her claim of struggling to wake up. It's possible that, upon realizing how that might be perceived, especially as a mother of 5 young children, Samantha attempted to backtrack. This effort to reshape her narrative may reflect a desire to appear more responsible or credible in the eyes of investigators, especially if she fears her account of Dagan's disappearance might otherwise be doubted.
Of course, I remember at some point it was a little after 1, I saw the clock, maybe on my phone. So it's still pretty foggy because it's fairly early to wake up after taking a sleeping pill.
Adding to the skepticism is her admission that she had taken a prescription sleeping pill prior to the incident, yet claims she was suddenly and clearly awakened. Despite the circumstances, her delivery remains emotionally flat and unnaturally composed, almost as if rehearsed. Trauma victims often exhibit fragmented or disoriented recall, yet Samantha speaks with an oddly detailed, scripted precision. While it's possible she is simply trying to provide investigators with thorough information in hopes of aiding the search for her husband, her repeated offers for investigators to verify details, such as confirming her Ambien prescription, suggest something more calculated. These preemptive reassurances may be an attempt to deflect suspicion and reinforce her credibility before deeper scrutiny sets in.
They said, do you want us to have to kill her too? And he said, no, please don't harm my kids. And they hit him in the mouth. Are my kids okay? And they hit him in the mouth, and he said we wouldn't touch a child. And it flew out of his mouth. I don't know if it was a tooth or if it was just spit or blood. Something flew out of his mouth because they had the lights on down there. And that's when they started cutting my clothes off and making me stand in front of him naked.
This portion of Samantha's account begins to unravel under closer examination. She claimed to have been wearing a sweater that was cut during the attack, yet the garment showed no visible signs of damage.
She didn't recognize the voice or nothing about it.
I tried listening to everything. They forced him to tell me not to call the police. And he said, don't call the police. And they punched me in the mouth with the gun. And said, that's not what I said for you to tell her. He said, please tell me what to say again. Please just repeat it. So they repeated it, and I couldn't understand what they were saying because they were so close to his face and growling in his ear. He said, Sam, don't call the police. I don't care what happens. Don't call the police because they'll come back and they'll kill all the kids. Promise me. And he was screaming at me, and I was like, I promise.
Even more questionable is her assertion that all 5 children slept through the entire ordeal. Given the chaos she described, this claim would later draw scrutiny from both law enforcement and her own aunt.
I know you said something about some money or...
Yeah, he said, what do I have to do? Please don't kill me, what do I have to do? And he said, $20,000. You want to know what you have to do? Can you come up with $20,000 in the next 5 minutes? And he's kind of laughed.
Now, what did the handgun look like?
It was just black. I don't know anything about guns.
Could you know the difference between like a revolver and an automatic?
Oh, it was definitely like a police pistol. It was whatever those are.
Semi-automatics. It wasn't a.
It was small, barely bigger than his hand.
Investigators also noted her earlier interactions at the crime scene, including the pointed questions she directed toward the corporal, an unusual move for someone allegedly traumatized.
What kind of gun is that? What kind of gun is that?
The Glock.
As the interview progresses, the conversation shifts to a more procedural matter. It is here that the trajectory of the investigation appears to turn against Samantha.
Like you two weren't fussing, you weren't fighting, didn't get out of hand, you didn't punch him, kick him, stab him, shoot him, nothing like that. I'm not going to find out anything any different later once we get there, because the deputies, they're out there right now, basically searching your house and talking about them for every piece of physical evidence that we can find to do.
Anything that'll help them find it.
When asked for permission to search her home, a subtle but telling moment occurs. She verbally consents, but her body language sends a mixed message. Initially, she shakes her head no while agreeing, only correcting herself mid-sentence with a nod. The contradiction, whether subconscious or deliberate, raises a potential red flag for investigators.
Well, actually, that's why I want to make sure, because we're going to be checking your phone records, your family's phone records.
Under the Fourth Amendment, law enforcement typically requires a search warrant to search private property. Without one, such a search is considered unconstitutional, and any evidence obtained may be deemed inadmissible in court. However, there are exceptions. Police can access certain types of records, such as phone call logs, from service providers without a warrant. These records generally reveal which numbers were called and when, but not the content of the conversations.
I need to know the truth. I have to absolutely know the truth, that you had no possible involvement in this whatsoever.
No.
You love her?
I didn't. I wouldn't have gone back if I didn't.
What all were you willing to do to help me find him?
Whatever it takes.
But you don't know where he is?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
You're positive?
I'm positive.
You have absolutely no idea where he's at.
No, I don't.
Do you know who we can call to find where he's at?
The only one I can think is because they kept bringing him up.
But other than that, you have no
Other than that, I have no idea. None.
Back in the interview room, Samantha's body language reveals more than her words. As she speaks, her palms turn upward in a rotatory motion, a subtle but telling gesture. In behavioral analysis, this posture can suggest a lack of confidence in one's own statements. When paired with a declarative claim, it may indicate uncertainty or even deception. Rather than standing by her words, the gesture implies she's subconsciously pleading to be believed, which raises further doubts about the credibility of her account.
He doesn't have any friends. I don't go out much. The one friend that I do really have lives in Sulphur Springs. I don't like drama. I don't like having outside chaos, so I just stay home. I'm just a stay-at-home mom.
Samantha continues to redirect suspicion toward the same individual she previously named, repeating the claim throughout the interview in an effort to shape the narrative. She presents herself as a stay-at-home mother, but observations made by responding officers and investigators reveal a stark contrast between her self-image and reality. The condition of the home is deeply troubling. According to a report later filed by investigator Chris Bragg, who is currently leading the questioning, the Ibarra residence was in a state of severe neglect. The interior was described as filthy and unsanitary, with trash, human waste, soiled clothing, and dirty diapers littering the floors. The living environment was clearly unfit for children.
I'm obsessed with making sure an animal is being taken care of the way it deserves to be taken care of. They're like children. They can't take care of themselves.
Bragg also noted that the children were wearing visibly dirty clothes and appeared not to have been bathed in some time. These details would become critical to understanding the broader context of the case.
And I'm watching this guy punch him in the face with a guy over and over.
How'd that make you feel?
Horrible.
So
I was hysterically bawling.
So didn't make you feel glad or
No.
there's some torture in there?
No.
Because you told me that you felt good about, wanting to stab him, kill him.
At some point in time, everybody loses their temper, but have I ever acted out and hurt anybody? No. And you can look at my record on that.
As the interview continues, Samantha offers another telling remark. You can look at my record. In behavioral analysis, this is considered a convincing statement, a potential indicator of deception. Rather than letting the facts speak for themselves, individuals who are lying often attempt to validate their claims with statements designed to sound reassuring. In contrast, a truthful person typically has no need to appeal to credibility. The truth stands on its own.
I have one count of criminal mischief, and that was because I tossed my keys to somebody and let them use my car.
Sure.
And they didn't have a license.
Now, when they cut your shirt off of you, was it violent or they just took
Yes.
their time and just...
No, they jerked it out and started slashing at it with this apparently dull box cutter, and then when it didn't work, ripped it off over my head and threw it to the side.
So it wasn't completely cut in half or anything?
No, they started cutting like they were going to cut it down or across, and the blade wasn't working, so they said and ripped it off over my head.
But as far as tonight, you had nothing to do with
No.
this experience. You don't know who did anything.
No.
You're positive about that.
Yes.
Well, what I need you to do for me is make me a list of everybody, friends, family, contact numbers, his boss, where he works at Little Caesars, his boss where he works at the Talcott Woodcraft.
After stepping out, the investigator leaves Samantha alone with her thoughts. Moments later, Sheriff Tim Ingram enters the room, taking his turn in the ongoing effort to uncover the truth.
And this is why that it's very important, hon, that we want you to be honest, because I'm going to tell you what, the evidence we're found on the scene, it's just not matching. I don't think you harmed this boy, but I think you know who did, because if somebody's going to kidnap him, why is there his blood in y'all's pickup? Kidnappers ain't going to use their pickup to do something with him and then put him out there and put him in the truck and haul him back.
In his pickup, his blood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody, it's apparent to me that somebody used his truck.
As the questioning resumes, subtle physical cues begin to surface. Detectives are trained to recognize that heightened anxiety can trigger physiological responses, such as dry mouth, throat clearing, or coughing. When these behaviors appear or escalate suddenly, they may indicate a shift in the suspect's emotional state. Samantha's sudden cough, for instance, arises just as she learns that blood has been discovered in Dagan's truck. It may be a subconscious response to panic, an effort to soothe the dryness caused by rising stress. Meanwhile, investigators begin to pivot their focus.
To take him somewhere after he was assaulted at y'all's house.
I told him that they got into his truck because they wanted his ID. Because they said they needed to verify 100% they had the right person, is what they said. I don't know if they were one of the people that hit him or not. They sent somebody out to the truck to get his wallet to check his ID. Came back in and said, yes, he is who he is, says he is.
Okay, but that still don't explain why his blood is in that truck.
They hit him in the face like 100 times.
Well, no, but you said they went out and did it and got it. He was never supposed to be in that truck.
If they had blood on their hands and got in the truck.
No, it's drip blood. It's not.
It's drip blood?
Yes, he was in that truck. And this is what's going to look so bad is from your story. And this is why you don't have to be a suspect. And I still don't think you did it. I don't think you're strong enough to do it. But I personally, I think you're scared. I don't know if you had a boyfriend that you found out about.
The goal is no longer just to piece together a timeline, but to determine whether others may have been involved. By probing for signs of accomplices, they are laying the groundwork to uncover a potential conspiracy, one that may reach further than Samantha has let on.
I didn't have a boyfriend.
Okay. I don't know what the deal is, but Sam, you've got your kids in the same room.
Samantha's statement that she's being as honest as she can is particularly revealing. On the surface, it sounds sincere, but in the context of investigative psychology, this type of language is often classified as a convincing statement. Truthful individuals typically don't feel compelled to emphasize their honesty. Their words and behavior naturally align, The phrase may also contain an element of truth. Samantha could very well be offering partial honesty, carefully omitting details that might implicate her directly. The addition of "as I can" functions as an exclusion qualifier, a subtle linguistic device that allows her to appear cooperative while withholding critical information. It provides her with psychological cover, enabling her to speak without fully confessing.
There's just the whole layout of your house and the way you said they took him. It's just not making sense.
Meanwhile, the interrogator maintains a calm and neutral demeanor, a strategic approach. Though the evidence increasingly points to deception, the detective gives no indication of suspicion, instead presenting himself as an ally. This is an intentional tactic. The more comfortable and supported Samantha feels, the more likely she is to let her guard down and reveal the truth.
Okay. All right, we'll finish writing your statement. We'll let you in, okay? You need something to drink?
He left with my phone. Where did he take that?
Well, we've got a search warrant for your phone. That phone's going to be ours for a while. Because the calls, every call you've made probably in the past year, we're gonna have to look at.
Okay.
Every text message, everything. So we've got a search warrant for your phone. Okay?
Okay. I'm telling you everything I know. I'm repeating everything they've said.
Okay. Well, just go ahead and do you got your statement. We'll get back with you in a minute, okay?
You can look at my record. I'm not somebody that gets into trouble.
Sit right there and told me the same story just like you're telling me. And, they tried to convince me. And in the end, when the evidence come in, they sat there and we knew all along they were lying. We knew all along the story was made up.
Investigators also apply subtle psychological pressure by suggesting that key evidence is already known or about to be uncovered. This creates a sense of urgency and uncertainty in the suspect's mind, pushing them toward a confession. The implication is clear. Time is running out, and cooperating now may be their only opportunity to influence the outcome.
I will be the first person to come forward because I want it found.
So let me ask you something. How did you call for help if you was tied up?
I used my nose.
So they didn't take your phone in. They left your phone there.
They asked me if I had a phone, and I told them no. And they asked him.
So how'd you get to it? How'd you get to it?
I wiggled on my side.
Where was it? Where was
I was on this side of the upstairs, and it was shoved up underneath the edge of the bed on this side of the upstairs.
Who did you call?
My mother was the first number on my call list. I just used my face. And
so instead of calling 911 for help, you called your mother?
How do you press 911 with your face?
Well, how did you dial your mother with your face?
I didn't dial my mother. I just pushed the first thing that was on there. It had just happened to be my mom.
While Samantha may believe her explanation is plausible, investigators will soon hear from another witness who recalls seeing her with her phone resting casually on her lap in the immediate aftermath of the alleged attack. The detail, though seemingly minor, casts further doubt on her account and raises questions about her behavior during those critical moments. Shifting focus, the sheriff begins to probe into Samantha's personal life.
Well, now see, here's something else I don't understand. Maybe you can help explain it to me. You talked about how much you love Ernie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But though you're talking to Brian, you're talking to Alan.
I'm not allowed to have friends because I'm married.
Oh, no. No, not that kind of friend when people like you, huh? No, do you think that's normal for married people to...
In the world nowadays, in general, I think more people our age. I wish I could marry somebody like my dad. He's great to my mother. There's nobody else ever that could turn his eyes from her. He's the perfect husband.
Okay.
God knows I didn't marry anyone. He cheated on me more than once, and I think every once in a while to hear that I'm beautiful and to hear that I am an attractive person and that I am not the most horrible person in the world, it's nice.
What follows appears to be an effort not only to justify her communication with other men, but also to cast her missing husband in a negative light. She claims Dagan would often tell her how horrible she was, an implication of emotional abuse. This line of explanation is striking, especially considering that her husband is still missing. In most cases, individuals in such circumstances are hesitant to speak ill of a loved one, particularly when their fate remains unknown. Samantha's remarks may be an early attempt to shape a potential defense narrative should her involvement in Digan's disappearance be confirmed.
Did Ernie ever look at your phone?
Yes, all the time.
Did he see those messages where you'd been talking to them guys?
Yeah.
What'd he say?
Nothing. He didn't particularly like it, but after what he put me through, he told me as long as I didn't bring anything home or do anything at the house, then he didn't want to hear about it. He didn't want to know about it. And I told him, I'm not cheating on you. Yeah, these guys tell me I'm beautiful, and they tell me that I'm, and I go out to my mom's house, and I go to the bar, and I go dancing.
Earlier, Samantha portrayed herself as a stay-at-home mother who rarely went out and maintained a quiet domestic life. But when confronted with evidence of her text messages with other men, her story quickly changes. The original version had served to support a more innocent image, one that distanced her from any outside influence or possible accomplices. Now, in light of mounting evidence, she adapts her narrative to accommodate the emerging facts, suggesting a calculated effort to stay ahead of the investigation.
And yeah, I may have a little too much to drink and someone says, hey, can I have your number? And I may give it to them, but that's as far as it goes.
Samantha's repeated references to her own appearance, particularly describing herself as beautiful, may offer insight into her personality. This preoccupation with how others perceive her could be indicative of narcissistic traits. Individuals with narcissistic tendencies often crave admiration and validation. It's possible Samantha felt unappreciated in her marriage and sought the attention she believed she deserved from other men.
Hey, in your statement, you might want to just go ahead and write in there after you talk about what happened tonight. You might just want to talk about and put in there that you have been friends with, because who's to say that one of these guys didn't set it up to try to get you where you're single and I can come in and get you and just use that as a ploy.
See, and that's what I'm saying. I may know something without even realizing I know something.
As the interview continues, the detective begins laying the psychological groundwork consistent with the Reed technique, particularly entering the theme development phase. He subtly introduces the idea that one of the men interested in Samantha may have played a role in her husband's disappearance. If she can accept this suggestion, even in part, it opens the door for a gradual progression, from acknowledging knowledge of the event to eventually admitting direct involvement. When the sheriff proposes that someone might have orchestrated the attack to make Samantha available, she appears to recognize the implication. In that moment, it becomes clear that her earlier performance is losing credibility. Rather than directly confront the suggestion, Samantha reverts to casting herself in the role of the victim, once again, deflecting suspicion and attempting to draw sympathy. Her continued redirection reinforces a consistent pattern, avoiding responsibility while subtly manipulating the narrative in her favor.
In October, things blew up. He laid his hands on me. I put criminal trespass on him, not on his sister, because she was acting crazy and harassing me. My friend David Smith had talked to me earlier, said he might come by later that night. I told him it was probably not the best idea. What, Ernie gonna be there?
Who's this David Smith?
He called in and reported that he was there. Then, when he realized that I intended on giving him the chance to be the better person he says he's going to be, and to go through the criminal trespass or the anger management courses and go through and do what he says he's going to do, and I'm going to give him that chance out of home on his own without having a judge to force him to do it.
So Ernie's got a lot of anger issues?
Yes,
is he jealous?
severe. Yes,
is he very
severe.
jealous of you?
Samantha's latest explanation conflicts with her earlier claim that Ernie had allowed her to be with other men, so long as it didn't happen in their home. The shift in her story reinforces a growing pattern of contradictions. Moreover, her portrayal of herself as a vulnerable woman in need of rescue, particularly by David Smith and other male figures, aligns with a recurring theme in her behavior. This damsel in distress narrative may not just be strategic, but reflective of a deeper psychological need for validation and attention, traits often associated with narcissistic personality disorder.
Yes. David Smith hit him up because me and him had been hanging out. I hadn't intended on ever hearing from Dagon again, Ernie. I had never intended on speaking to him again. He cheated on me and he laid his hands on me. I was done. Well, his sister talked his way back in, and he said he loves you, blah, blah, blah. He wants to be with you. Well, I was on a Skype conversation with him, and David was at the house, and he heard it.
What did he do?
He got freaking furious and started freaking out on me and treating me like crap and threatening me. David, this guy that was a friend and only a friend, wanted to be with me. And when he realized that I had intended on going back to my husband, he freaked out.
I need to find out where David lives. If you say he lives close to you, I need to find out where he lives at. Rita? Hey, there is one other way that we can make absolutely sure and clear you. We can give you a polygraph test.
Would you mind me speaking to my mother before I completely agree to that?
Well, but now if you have nothing to hide, why would you want to talk to your mama?
Because it's nothing against you personally, but just cops in general. You hear such negative things and how they are not out to help you, and CPS is the same way, and I just kind of want to get my mom and dad's opinion on if it's in my best interest.
You know what? You know what I think? I think it's not going to be long. I think they're locking your butt up, what I think. I think you've been lying to me this whole thing. You did get them right. I think you're a liar, what I think. I think you know exactly who did this, and I don't buy your freaking story for a minute. That's what I think. So I tell you what, let's do. Let's just get on with it.
Meanwhile, the tone of the interrogation shifts dramatically. The interrogator raises his voice, a calculated move that may be designed to provoke an emotional response. This tactic is typically reserved for moments when overwhelming evidence is believed to exist and subtle strategies have run their course. While the display of anger can sometimes produce the desired reaction, it also risks undoing any trust that may have been built during earlier stages of the interrogation. Samantha's reaction is telling. She freezes, her body still, her mouth slightly open, as if momentarily stunned. This may be the onset of the classic freeze response, a primitive survival instinct triggered by fear or perceived danger. In that moment, the realization sets in. The investigators no longer believe her story. The sudden stillness may be her subconscious attempt to reduce the scrutiny, hoping that by ceasing movement, she can deflect some of the pressure now bearing down on her.
That's why I say I've tried to really be honest with you.
And that's why
I feel that you have done nothing but sit here this whole time. If I'm gonna tell you right now, DPS is dang good at them. If you ain't got nothing to hide, and what bothers me is you even hesitate to take that knowing it would positively clear you or to positively show that you're hiding something. But what's going to make you guilty is when we prove that you lied to us.
During the interview, the sheriff asserts that lying effectively makes Samantha guilty. An oversimplification, but one that serves a tactical purpose. While misleading, this approach is legally permissible under U.S. law, as officers are allowed to use deception during interrogations, provided it doesn't cross into coercion. At this point in the investigation, the inconsistencies between Samantha's statements and the physical evidence begin to carry weight. These contradictions may be used to demonstrate what's known as consciousness of guilt, a legal concept suggesting that a suspect is aware of their involvement in a crime and is actively trying to conceal it. This awareness is typically inferred through circumstantial evidence, particularly a suspect's post-crime behavior, such as evasion, false statements, or lack of cooperation.
If that is the case, then I do know who did it and why they did it.
Okay.
Doesn't that make me like an accomplice?
Nope, it sure don't. No, that makes you a scared mother with children.
In a revealing moment, Samantha asks the sheriff about the legal consequences of being an accomplice. Her question is notable and potentially incriminating. Under the law, accomplices are generally treated as principals, meaning they can face the same charges and penalties as the person who directly committed the crime. A common example is the getaway driver in a bank robbery. Even if they never enter the building, their role in aiding the crime makes them equally culpable. It's important to distinguish this from conspiracy, which involves an agreement between two or more individuals to commit a crime, coupled with at least one person taking a concrete step toward its execution.
In both accomplice liability and conspiracy, all involved parties can be held criminally responsible, regardless of the extent of their direct involvement. Samantha's inquiry may suggest an awareness of how deeply her actions, or knowledge, may implicate her.
The only other thing I know, and I don't even know, I know, but it's a suspicion.
Okay.
I've been up at the hospital with my friend Charlotte.
Okay.
And she's got a guy there, and I swear to God, I cannot go up there that I said any of this.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of friends around here, and my life will be in a lot of danger.
Okay.
But the only other thing I know is venting to her and talking to her about problems like I just told you. I have a problem with talking to my friends about our problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have many of them. So when I do get with one of my friends, I want to talk about any problems we might have had. And honestly, lately, it hasn't been many.
Okay.
We have had problems in the past, and I hadn't seen Charlotte in a long time.
Okay, come on with it.
And she's got this guy in the room with her, and he gets to talking about how a man shouldn't treat a woman that way, and how you don't do those things to a person, and he's going to deal with the situation. I didn't take him seriously.
Okay, you see, Sam, you know who did this, but that does not make
But I
you
don't
guilty.
have any proof that he did. I just have what he said.
Okay, who is this guy?
His name's John.
John who?
His Facebook is Rebel, John Rebel. It's John, I don't truly know his last name, but his Facebook says John Rebel.
At this stage of the interrogation, Samantha's emotional display appears less connected to concern for her missing husband and more reflective of frustration, specifically that her version of events is no longer producing the result she had anticipated. This reaction aligns with her previously observed narcissistic traits, where the focus often centers on self-image rather than genuine empathy or remorse. It is during this shift that Samantha introduces a new name, John Rebel. This moment marks a critical turning point in the investigation.
He's got a brother named Greg. He's got a really bad history as far as...
Who's Greg?
I was told he's an informant. I don't know Greg's last name
Where
either.
does John live?
I don't know. I know that he's been staying with Charlotte.
So if he did this, who do you think he'd bring with him?
I don't know any of his friends. But yesterday at the hospital, he had a guy that I do know from town with him. His name is Tay.
Who?
Tay Rhymes.
What began as a chaotic and conflicting story now starts to take form, with new characters, new claims, and a widening scope of potential involvement.
Investigators would soon learn that John Rebel is actually John Sanford, and that Tay refers to Octavius Rhymes. Suddenly, the investigation gains momentum. Within minutes, Samantha implicates multiple individuals, and the tangled narrative begins to unravel rapidly. Her cooperation, though still self-serving, provides law enforcement with new leads and directions.
Did they do something to let you know that there was them inside that house?
Not 1,000% particular, but I'm pretty sure it was him. The height and the weight and the way he was talking all gangster.
You pull yourself together and get to writing, and we need to arrest these folks and keep them off the street where they can't hurt you and your children.
There was a third person with them.
Okay, who do you think it was?
He's got people that stayed with him.
Who, John Rebel?
When they were in the hospital together. Before this happened in my house.
Yes.
Tay was with him. There was another guy, I don't know his name, but he pretty much fits the bill of the third guy.
There was 3 people?
Yes, at the house there was 3 people. And at the hospital yesterday, you can look at the cameras, there was 3 people.
So they have them on the video camera there at the hospital?
At the hospital, yes.
Okay.
There was Tay and that guy and this third party. The one that I said was basically like the ringleader that was bossing everybody around. The other 2 really didn't talk much other than a word here and there. But it was the big guy, the third party that was at the hospital.
Interestingly, Samantha insists she doesn't know the third man involved, the one she encountered at the hospital, Yet she's quick to direct suspicion toward him.
The only thing I know about the heavyset dude is they called him JoJo, but they told me that wasn't his name. I believe they said it was Jose.
Despite claiming she had just met this group, she offers strikingly specific details about the man she refers to as JoJo, including where he lives and the fact that everyone calls him by that nickname. This growing inconsistency does not go unnoticed. It raises further doubts about Samantha's credibility and her true level of involvement. And significantly, it brings investigators back to an earlier detail. The corporal's discovery of a ping from Dagan's phone, a small but crucial piece of evidence that hinted, even then, at the deeper web they were only beginning to uncover.
There's something 0.86 miles from a residence in Pittsburgh.
Earlier in the interview, when asked whether she knew anyone in Pittsburgh, Samantha had no answer. But the truth soon emerged. She did. Both Tay and JoJo, the individuals she had just implicated, were in fact residing in Pittsburgh. As the investigation began to escalate, Samantha stepped out for a smoke break, while members of the sheriff's office moved swiftly, determined to intercept the suspects who had been frequently visiting Charla's hospital room in recent days. At 9:39 a.m., both John Sanford, also known as John Rebel, and JoJo were taken into custody at the hospital. What follows in their respective interrogations would prove to be not only revealing, but damning. By 10:10 a.m., John Sanford was seated in the interrogation room, wearing black pants and a black long-sleeve shirt. His outfit closely matched the description Samantha had earlier given of the intruder's clothing. Despite the serious nature of his situation, John appeared surprisingly at ease. His relaxed demeanor suggested he may have believed that cooperation, or at least the appearance of it, might earn him leniency or gain the investigator's trust. But as the hours unfolded, it would become increasingly clear that the evidence against him, and against Samantha, was quickly tightening its grip.
John, you know what this is about, buddy. You know exactly what it is. You know what happened over at Samantha's house last night. That's what we want to talk to you about, okay? I'm gonna randomize you. You know you're right. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to, and that's fine. I hope you decide to, because I think there's some things you're probably gonna need to tell me. Your side of the story. And see if it's gonna match Samantha's. Because Samantha, I'll be honest with you, she's pointing the finger at JoJo. She said you was with him. Now, do you want to talk to me just a little bit about this?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what they're saying first, because I think you'll be honest. Because our bear is dead. He's dead. But now, according to Samantha, you was just a bystander. Why JoJo beat the living crap out of him up in that room where we got all the blood and collecting evidence.
In cases involving multiple suspects, law enforcement will move quickly to isolate them. The goal is to prevent any coordination of stories and to increase the psychological pressure on each individual. Detectives often introduce subtle doubt by suggesting that others are already talking, planting the seed that loyalty has been broken. This tactic forces each suspect into a dilemma: confess and potentially control the narrative or remain silent and risk being blamed entirely. During John Sanford's interrogation, the detective employs a classic element of the Reed technique, shifting blame away from the suspect. By suggesting that John may have simply been a bystander or under someone else's influence, the detective lowers the barrier to confession. This strategy is designed to make admission less threatening, encouraging cooperation without immediately confronting the full weight of guilt. However, from a legal standpoint, the distinction between participant and bystander may be irrelevant. Under the doctrine of accomplice liability, any person who aids or abets in the commission of a crime, particularly a homicide, can be held equally responsible. If prosecutors can demonstrate that John knowingly supported or facilitated Dagan's murder, he faces the same legal consequences as the individual who carried out the act itself.
Okay, this all started yesterday, like you said. Yeah, we talked to her about her problem with her husband and all that. Never did I plot to kill the guy. I have a problem with males hitting females.
And I do too.
She did say that there's been times it's crossed her mind to do stupid shit, this and that.
Like what?
Like, basically, like, get somebody to them off. Like, not kill them, but like just beat the out of them, set them up, shit like that, right? And I told her, I said, well, damn. I said, you're talking to somebody that could do that, but I wasn't going to, though.
John Sanford begins recounting the events of the previous night, starting with a brief stop at Samantha Wolford's home.
JoJo had the keys. He was passenger seat.
In front?
Yeah, passenger.
Who was driving?
I drove because...
Okay. Who was with you?
It was me, JoJo, and the dude in the back seat I have never seen a day in my life. Except for, I do know...
What's his name?
All I know is he was related to Tay.
Yeah, because I think I know who he is.
According to his version, Tay was not in the vehicle with them. Instead, someone connected to Tay was seated in the back seat. This detail subtly distances Tay from direct involvement while redirecting attention toward others in the group.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I have seen them because I have been running around Pittsburgh, but unless they live on Cypress Street, I don't know who they are.
Okay, I got you. Okay, well, go ahead. Y'all all three together.
So,
you was driving, but you didn't have the keys.
Didn't have the keys, and I really didn't have a choice because I like my life.
As the narrative unfolds, John shifts the focus toward JoJo, Jose Ponce, suggesting that it was JoJo who orchestrated the plan. He claims JoJo threatened him into driving, an implication of duress. While duress may serve as a legal defense for certain crimes, it is rarely accepted as a defense in cases involving murder, especially when there is evidence of premeditation or voluntary participation. John continues his account of what transpired at the Ibarra residence.
They go in, I'm the only person that knows the layout to the house. So JoJo asked me, like, where they sleep at? And I just walked up, stopped, and told them, man, look, upstairs. They didn't go up. I have to go up in the middle. It was JoJo, me, and then the last dude. We go up. And that's when all hell breaks loose. Beat the living hell out the dude. Honestly, me personally, I do not believe Samantha really had a hand to play in it. I think that what she was saying just kind of got took too far.
Okay, so what happened? Who beat the hell out of him?
JoJo and the other guy.
Using exaggerated hand gestures despite being in handcuffs. In behavioral analysis, the increased use of illustrators, gestures that accompany speech, can sometimes indicate an attempt to make a lie seem more convincing or to reinforce a shaky narrative. Meanwhile, JoJo now finds himself in the interrogation room, wearing orange prison attire and facing mounting pressure. His situation is increasingly precarious.
Jonathan is really putting this whole thing off on you, and said that you're the one that wanted to go in there, and he kept saying that you said something about like maybe you had a bad dope deal that went bad.
I don't even know. Matter of fact, I specifically told them when she told me who her husband was right there in Octavius' house. Mm-hmm. When she told me his name, I told her. I don't even know who they are. I don't even know him.
JoJo said, well, what do you think you can do? You think you can come up with 20 grand in 5 minutes?
John claims that JoJo demanded Dagan produce $20,000 within 5 minutes to fix the situation, a statement that mirrors Samantha's earlier account to police. While this could indicate consistency because it's true, it may also suggest a coordinated story. Samantha's interrogation footage shows her attempting to frame the incident as drug-related, possibly to downplay her own involvement. Taken together, the parallel statements raise a critical question. Is this a genuine account of what happened, or a rehearsed version created by the group in a last-ditch effort to mislead investigators?
JoJo tells me, all right, stay here and watch him. Dude's out cold. I'm talking about folded up, basically like literally like this, on the ground. When we got outside the house, they had him up against the truck, hands still behind the back, had his face down like this.
What part of the truck?
The hood of the truck.
Okay, that makes sense. That's where, okay.
During the interrogation, the investigator momentarily catches himself, stopping just short of revealing a key piece of evidence. This restraint is intentional, Withholding certain details allows law enforcement to test the credibility of a suspect's account and to later tie physical evidence to specific individuals through corroboration.
They went through the truck. And at this point is when I started thinking, damn, what the really going on? Because they put the dude in the back seat. So we go. We leave. As we're going, they tell me, I go here, whoa, I'm driving. We go all the way out to the country. Get out to the country. Next thing I know, they walk off. They're all like, go start the vehicle. Go start the vehicle, he throws me the keys. So I'm like, what the f? So I start running back to the vehicle, and in my mind process, this is my neck of the woods now.
So you know where you're at?
Yeah, this is my neck of the
woods. We're fixing to go out there, me and you. We're going back out there. Because everything you're saying so far is matching 100%.
Before I make the vehicle, all I hear is pop.
Who's got the gun?
JoJo does.
As the conversation continues, John names JoJo, Jose Ponce, as the individual who pulled the trigger. However, this is where the accounts begin to diverge.
Hey, listen, man, everybody's done pointing the finger at you as being the one that pulled the trigger.
That's what I'm saying, dude, and I didn't.
Who pulled the trigger then?
Jonathan.
The identity of the shooter remains unclear, and no unified version of events emerges. Still, JoJo could face serious legal consequences, even without being the one who fired the fatal shot. Under the theory of accomplice liability, the prosecution need only prove that JoJo aided, abetted, or intended to facilitate the crime. Alternatively, if it can be established that he entered into an agreement with Samantha or John to carry out the murder, he could be charged with conspiracy to commit murder. In either case, the legal outcome would be equally severe. With the interrogation concluded, Sheriff Tim Ingram signals that he's obtained what he needs from John. Sanford is escorted out of the room, but his involvement is far from over. The next step is grim, but necessary. Locating the body of Ernie Dagan Ibarra Jr., Sheriff Ingram and investigator Aaron Baxter prepare to depart the Titus County Sheriff's Office accompanied by John Sanford, who is now assisting in the recovery effort. Chief Deputy John Livingston follows close behind in Baxter's vehicle. Aaron's body camera is rolling, ready to capture the disturbing revelations that lie ahead. What they are about to uncover will mark a chilling turning point in the investigation, as the hidden truths of that early morning begin to surface in harrowing detail.
Well, you think old cuz went to bed after all this? You think he's home in bed?
I honestly don't know.
Who won't know who cuz is other than in case the crib will talk to me? Who's gonna know this guy's gonna get him quick before he tries to do anything?
Almost anybody in Pittsburgh that really...
So is that his name? Is that what everybody calls him, cuz?
As the investigation intensifies, Sheriff Tim Ingram asks John Sanford to identify the elusive third individual known only by the alias Cuss. His real identity will soon come to light.
Yeah, see the body. See that? Yeah. That's him. Definitely did. Okay. What we need to do now, oh yeah, he's dead. He's not gonna be alive. What we need to do now is two of us need to break off and take him and use a recorder and let's go get that gun.
Tragically, at 11:28 a.m., law enforcement locates the body of Ernie Dagan Ibarra Jr. Investigator Aaron Baxter places a call to the Camp County Sheriff's Office, notifying them that a homicide has occurred within their jurisdiction. Back at the Titus County Sheriff's Office, Samantha has returned to the interrogation room. The time now reads 11:45 a.m. She appears restless and fidgety, unaware that just 17 minutes earlier, Dagan had been found deceased. The weight of that knowledge, still withheld, lingers heavily in the air. While investigators begin the search for the suspected murder weapon, Samantha occupies herself by writing aimlessly on the dry erase board inside the interrogation room, an unsettling display of detachment given the gravity of the situation. At 11:58 a.m., Samantha exits the room, and Aaron's body camera footage resumes. Joined by Sheriff Ingram and fellow investigators John Livingston and Aaron Baxter, Sanford leads them to the location where the firearm is believed to be hidden. Sitting on the front steps of the residence is a woman named Lacona Slayton. Her involvement in the case remains unclear for now, but her role in this unfolding tragedy will soon be revealed.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, what? Thank you. I appreciate you, man. Won't take us but a minute. We'll be done. Hey, John. Where's that gun at?
It was out here, but it's apparently not out here.
Who got it?
I don't know. Y'all arrested me.
Why ain't it out here?
I don't know.
No, I swear to God, I don't know.
the box, and the box is
in a locked box.
So you already knew the gun was involved in it?
No, she has no
I didn't
clue.
know about
She has no clue about nothing. I'm telling y'all that now.
So
I haven't. She has no clue about nothing.
Here's the deal, all right? We need the gun. You could be charged with the same thing.
She was.
I know
here.
what the.
You could be an accomplice to murder, capital murder. That's the death penalty. So if you know where the gun's at,
She knows where the gun's at.
you
She
need
got the
to
box.
you need to go
I
ahead and
don't
tell
know
us.
where the gun's at. I just told you that.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more opportunity.
Dude, you can
Give me the
handcuff
gun.
me. I don't
Well,
know where the
that's
goddamn
probably
gun's
fixing to
at.
happen. That's probably about to happen because I think you're a liar.
I don't
You've
give a
got the
damn.
freaking box. You've got the dead gun.
Where'd the gun go then?
I don't know.
So why don't you get the box?
I don't care, man. I didn't do
That you must be about as low life as that husband of yours.
He ain't husband.
Well, you with him. About the same thing.
Whatever.
The sheriff and Lacona Slayton are now discussing JoJo, Jose Ponce.
What's that? Oh yeah, you remember enough to come home and get that box, that gun in it, don't you?
No, I remember to come home and check the box.
So the gun's not in the tent?
I don't know. Go check the tent. I don't know.
Is it okay if I check the
Yes,
tent?
it is okay.
Okay. And where's it at?
Right behind the house.
During a tense and emotionally charged exchange. The confrontation reaches a boiling point before the sheriff and investigator Aaron Baxter proceed to search the tent where Lacona has been living. As she is the occupant with a controlling interest in the premises, her consent negates the need for a warrant under the established exceptions to the Fourth Amendment. Meanwhile, back at the Titus County Sheriff's Office, Samantha once again engages with the dry erase board in the interrogation room. This time, she directs written questions toward the investigators, an act that seems less like communication and more like a performance. Her behavior continues to appear childlike and emotionally immature. Under pressure, individuals with certain personality disorders may regress, revealing patterns of behavior that are impulsive, attention-seeking, or disconnected from the gravity of the situation. Samantha's actions reflect such tendencies, seemingly more concerned with expression than reflection.
There you go, right there, I bet you. See the dope or the gun? The gun. Well,
Computer had his gun.
Why the hell would I tell you to go look in the tent?
it wasn't in the tent.
Well, I don't know where the.
All we want is the truth.
Man, I'm telling you, all I know is the guy told me that they were suspects in a murder case. The first thing that popped in my head was that gun. It was not in the box where it was always at, and I don't know what the is going on, but I want to know.
Okay, well, just like the other officer told you, we're investigating a murder. All right? There was a guy killed last night. He was executed. He wasn't supposed to have it, was he?
No.
Convicted felon or?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, you know, that guy's got a family, and they're going to want to know what happened to their son and father. I mean, the guy's got kids, young kids. And so we just want to we're just trying to gather the facts up and get justice for this guy's family. Is there anything that you can tell me at this point that would help us with our investigation?
Other than that, if I think he would have did something like that, yeah, because he's pulled it on me before.
He's pulled the gun out on you before?
Yeah.
All right.
I know I've prayed, but damn, I didn't think I was going to split up with him like this.
A revealing detail soon emerges, thanks to a carefully crafted, open-ended question posed by one of the officers. This insight may explain Lacona's reluctance to disclose the weapon's location earlier. It appears her silence may not have been motivated by self-preservation or loyalty, but by fear, specifically, fear of retaliation from Jojo. While his full version of events has yet to be heard, the evidence continues to build against him, and the possibility of redemption seems increasingly remote. With the suspected murder weapon now recovered from Lacona's tent, law enforcement secures a key piece of evidence, one believed to have been used in the execution of Ernie Dagan Ibarra Jr. The case, while far from over, is beginning to come into devastating focus. On February 24th, just 4 days after the murder of Ernie Dagan Ibarra Jr., investigator Aaron Baxter sits down with Lacona Slayton for a formal interview. During their previous encounter, when the suspected murder weapon was recovered near the tent she called home, Lacona had hinted that her relationship with Jojo, Jose Ponce, was nearing its end. Yet now, in a surprising shift, she refers to Jojo as her fiancé. This change in language suggests that she may have reconsidered her decision to leave the volatile relationship. If so, her emotional attachment could make her less forthcoming with law enforcement than investigators had hoped.
You know, the other day when we were over there with the gun, what made you think that that gun was used to you just had a gut feeling?
I just had that feeling. It was a feeling because I don't know, it's just a feeling.
And you said that Jose had pointed at you before?
Yeah, in the past, but he would never, when it comes to other people, he's not mean. He's a coward. When it came to me, it was different. Other folks, he was a coward. He always backed down for fights and stuff. And I just don't understand. I don't see. I just don't understand. What? Why? Jojo didn't even know her. As far as I knew, Jonathan was the only one that knew her. Then I found out Tay's known her, Jonathan's known her. Jojo didn't know her, so why would he even?
During the interview, Lacona appears genuinely confused by the alleged conspiracy, particularly Jojo's involvement. She expresses disbelief, noting that Jojo had only met Samantha the day before the murder. This detail raises further questions about motive and influence. According to testimony that would later be provided by John Sanford, all 3 men smoked methamphetamine during their drive to the Ibarra residence. If true, this could offer partial insight into the group's erratic and violent behavior that may have been uncharacteristic, particularly in Jojo's case.
So why don't you
never found that gun in my tent? I promise you didn't.
Where do you think I found it?
I know exactly where you found it, which is in the spot that Jonathan hid it.
Jonathan put it there? Seriously?
Yes.
Now under growing pressure from the mounting evidence, Jojo, Jose Ponce, appears to believe that his knowledge of the weapon's location might serve as leverage, a potential means to redirect blame onto John Sanford.
Jonathan blew his pistol out and he hits him with it.
Where'd Jonathan have the pistol at?
In his waistband.
Whose pistol is it?
Jonathan's.
Where'd he get it?
Beats me.
However, as investigators compare statements and cross-reference facts, it becomes evident that Jojo's strategy is unraveling. Shifting responsibility won't be as simple as naming another suspect. Notably, Jojo's account conflicts sharply with John's version of events. One of the most significant discrepancies lies in the ownership of the murder weapon. Jojo insists that the gun used to kill Dagan belonged to John, though he cannot explain where John supposedly acquired it. That claim, however, is quickly contradicted.
All right, and the gun that we got out from under the house, that's the gun that, I guess it belonged to Jose.
It was mine. It was a gift to me from him. It was mine.
Okay.
Lacona Slayton confirms to investigators that the handgun recovered near her tent was, in fact, owned jointly by herself and JoJo, not John. This admission effectively dismantles JoJo's claim and ties him more directly to the crime.
What I need to do, I've got Samantha's version.
Samantha is the ringleader. I never met her until yesterday.
So you just up there with Charlotte and them, that's when you met.
That's when right, yes sir, I met Samantha. And I met her 5 kids. Mm-hmm. We all left. We get to Walmart. We're in Walmart for a little bit. All of a sudden, Octavius Rhymes walks up to me. He said, man, I gotta go. I said, why? He's like, my mom just called me and cussing me out, telling me I better get the damn car home. So I well, let me go find Jonathan real quick. Let me ask Jonathan if he can give us, me and my wife, a ride home back to your house. When Jonathan took me home that afternoon, though, Octavius was home. Octavius ended up leaving with Jonathan. They left together. Me and my wife stayed home. All of a sudden, around the 7 or 8 at last night, they showed back up. This time, they showed up with Octavius, Jonathan, Samantha, and her kids. Jonathan pulls me to the side. Say, cuz, I need to talk to you. I don't know what's up. He's like, look, old girl, talking about Samantha. Uh-huh. He said, Samantha wants us to, do something. And he wouldn't tell me full details until we went to the place. All of a sudden, he tells me, he said, look, I just need you to stand up.
JoJo goes on to describe what constitutes a criminal conspiracy between himself and John, specifically a plan to kidnap Dagan. He also implicates Tay as a knowing and willing participant in that plan. This marks a crucial development, especially since both Samantha and John had initially avoided naming Tay in connection with the crime. As it turns out, the mysterious cuss was none other than Tay, Octavius Rhymes, whose identity had been deliberately concealed by both Samantha and John early in the investigation. But now, Tay is ready to speak for himself. Having reached out to the Titus County Sheriff's Office, Octavius Tay Rhymes requests a meeting, indicating his interest in cooperating with authorities, possibly in exchange for a plea deal. With each new statement, the conspiracy grows clearer and more disturbing. Although Octavius Tay Rhymes expressed interest in making a deal, he was informed that only his attorney could negotiate with the district attorney's office. Still, he went ahead and shared his story with investigator Wayne Miner.
I should have spoke to y'all without a lawyer, but I admitted to y'all, that I was in the vicinity when they took the dude from his home. But I didn't realize that they were planning on doing. So like I said, I know y'all ran my criminal background history already. I don't have no bottom background, I don't have no felonies, but misdemeanors. No, I've never been in no serious trouble like this ever. So I'm trying to work with y'all, but I can't really give y'all no more information if there ain't no deal on the table.
In multi-defendant cases, plea deals are common, offering reduced sentences in exchange for cooperation or testimony. However, it's important to note that police cannot make legally binding deals. Only prosecutors can. Any promise from law enforcement holds no legal weight unless approved by the DA. Tay's willingness to talk, though not official, may still influence the prosecution's strategy moving forward.
I stayed downstairs the entire time.
But she whistled.
So that means she was downstairs. Because like I said, me, Octavius, and
How'd she whistle? Was it like that or?
Yeah, like that. That's what I'm saying. She was downstairs. She had to be.
But you didn't see her?
No.
And so who went back in when she did? Jonathan did.
And all of a sudden, Jonathan comes back out and says, come here, cuz I talk to you. So we walk over here. And he's like, her mom just called, said she's she's sending a friend over to see her or whatever, something like that. He's like, so she said, we got to go. We need to go now.
JoJo claims that Samantha urged them to act quickly. Phone records confirm that she contacted her mother to report the alleged attack. Knowing her mother lived an hour away, Samantha likely assumed that would provide enough time for the men to leave the scene with Dagan before help arrived. However, what she didn't anticipate was her mother sending a nearby aunt instead, disrupting the plan far sooner than expected. Critically, JoJo's knowledge of this sequence of events strongly suggests prior coordination with Samantha, as there would have been no way for him to know this detail unless she had informed him.
And so we left.
The group eventually arrived at a remote, secluded location, their intended destination.
Tay's looking at me, I'm looking at him. Jonathan looks back at us. Jonathan pulls it out, he's holding it. All of a sudden, I tell him, man, dude, you're too close, dude. You finna take the man's life, but you're too close to the road. Tay's looking, Tay's like, man, you really are. He said, it's gonna be loud.
It is here that JoJo makes a potentially incriminating statement. By telling the sheriff that he instructed John to move farther from the road before killing Dagan, JoJo may have just admitted to being an accomplice. Prosecutors could argue that this directive constituted an act of assistance, legally implicating JoJo under the doctrine of accomplice liability and making him equally responsible for the murder.
All right, hold on just a second, drink your Coke, and I'll be right back.
As JoJo waits alone for the sheriff's return, he remains aware that the camera is still recording, capturing every moment, gesture, and pause in real time.
I don't understand how the hell are you gonna blame me for shit that he did.
Okay.
I went because he asked me for help.
So you know what time that they took Samantha home?
To be honest, I believe it was before midnight, but I couldn't really tell you the time. I don't remember the times. I think it was before midnight though, because she was talking about how the kids were getting sleepy and she needed to get to the house. Something about her man was asleep or something and she didn't want him waking up and getting mad at her.
There was no longer any doubt. Samantha Wolford had been caught in a lie. Cell tower data contradicted her statements to law enforcement, revealing that her phone did not return to her residence until around 10:30 p.m. on February 19th, just hours before the staged home invasion. Despite her efforts to mislead investigators, the digital evidence told a different story. A major turning point in the case came 3 days after Dagan's murder. Though hardly unexpected, Samantha was formally arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping and murder. Justice soon followed for the rest of the conspirators. In April 2016, both John Sanford and Jose Jojo Ponce pleaded guilty to their roles in the crime. Each received 50-year prison sentences for the kidnapping and murder of Dagan Ibarra Jr. Later that year, in December 2016, Octavius Tay Rhymes faced trial. His hopes of a favorable outcome quickly faded. He was found guilty of murder and aggravated kidnapping, receiving a total sentence of 93 years. Finally, in September 2017, the mastermind herself stood trial. Samantha Wolford was convicted of orchestrating the fatal plot. She was sentenced to 99 years for murder, plus an additional 50 years for kidnapping, to be served consecutively. To this day, the question of who ultimately pulled the trigger remains unanswered. But for the 4 individuals who conspired in this chilling crime, the consequences were clear and permanent. Do you think Samantha's calm and detailed storytelling was a clever cover, or a clear sign of guilt? Was justice truly served if we still don't know who actually pulled the trigger? If you found this case as shocking as we did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more deep dive true crime stories, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think about Samantha's role and the unanswered questions still lingering in this case.
Bad documentary, or are you kind of like whatever? I don't feel bad about it because she was inappropriate towards him and she wouldn't let us be together. And you know what they say, like, you know, let people do them, let people be people, like, don't interfere with somebody's life because it's going to come right back on.
Do you think she deserved back then?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, it's not like she was about to die anyways. So it's not like, it's literally, like, we all die at some point. It's not like she was literally about to die.
She was literally about to die?
No, I'm meaning it as, like, she was old already. And people, all of us, people in general, we all die at some point. And she was literally close to that age of dying. So I feel like it doesn't matter if I killed her or not. And I killed her because she gave me really two good reasons. She wouldn't let us be together, and she was very inappropriate towards him.
Okay.
And it's like, she didn't have friends, she didn't have family. So honestly, it's like I killed a nobody.
Well, what about the lady that was shot in Arizona?
I don't know about that person. I did that one out of anger. Okay. I just wanted to blow off steam, and I didn't even think about it.
Juarez, Mexico, one of the most perilous cities in the world, plagued by cartel violence and rampant crime, served as the unlikely setting for the apprehension of 2 American citizens on May 8th. Authorities in the border town took notice when a man and a teenage girl were seen attempting to sell jewelry on the streets, prompting immediate concern over a potential case of human trafficking. Mexican officials acted swiftly, detaining the pair to ensure the young woman's safety. At the time, there was no indication that the individuals in custody were linked to a far more sinister event over 1,700 miles away. Upon questioning, the 2 identified themselves as 33-year-old Jonathan Jones of Sylvania Township, Ohio, and 17-year-old Caitlin Coons of Canton, Ohio. Coons stated that she was traveling with Jones of her own volition and was not in any danger. As authorities worked to confirm their identities, a search of the vehicle they had been using revealed a small quantity of marijuana, an unsettling detail that would soon pale in comparison to the revelations that followed. Jonathan Jones claimed responsibility for the marijuana, telling officers he believed that possessing such a small amount was legal in Mexico. However, the authorities quickly corrected that misconception. He was arrested and transported to a local detention facility. Given that Caitlin Coons was a minor and a U.S. citizen, Mexican officials arranged for her to be transferred into the custody of law enforcement across the border in El Paso, Texas. But this wasn't simply a case of returning a runaway teen to safety. By then, a troubling trail of unanswered questions had begun to catch up with her. The story had started to unravel days earlier, during what initially appeared to be a routine stop by U.S. Border Patrol agents in New Mexico. At the time, nothing about the encounter seemed particularly alarming, and both Jonathan and Caitlin were allowed to continue on their way. But just a day later, deeply concerning information would emerge. During that initial stop, agents had discovered an active arrest warrant for Jonathan Jones out of Wood County, Ohio. He had failed to appear in court, and his court-ordered ankle monitor had not transmitted his location in several days. Despite this, both he and Caitlin were released. According to their own later statements, the agents told them that their primary duty was to monitor people and contraband entering the U.S., not those leaving it. Just hours after that release, a missing juvenile alert for Caitlin Coons was sent to those same Border Patrol officers from authorities in Canton, Ohio. By then, she and Jonathan were already well beyond their reach. By the time authorities pieced together the significance of their earlier encounter, Jonathan Jones and Caitlin Coons had already made their way to Texas, heading toward the El Paso region. Border Patrol agents, now fully aware of the gravity of the situation, contacted the lead detective in Ohio to report that they had previously seen both individuals. They also confirmed that the pair had been traveling in a 2021 Buick Encore, registered to Jonathan's mother, Noicole Jones. Meanwhile, the case took an even darker turn. Caitlin's social worker alerted police to a chilling message she had received from the teenager, a text in which Caitlin claimed involvement in 2 murders and an arson. Acting swiftly, the Ohio detective attempted to contact Noicole Jones by phone but received no response. Concerned for her safety, he requested a wellness check at her residence in Sylvania Township. Given Jonathan's outstanding warrant, members of the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Recovery Unit joined Sylvania Township Police in responding to the home.
Regional Dispatch, non-emergency.
Yeah, this is Detective Sedaris from the Canton Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I am investigating a possible kidnapping involving a Jonathan Jones. They were stopped in Arizona by the Border Patrol in a Noicole Jones vehicle. That's Jonathan's mom. Now, the 17-year-old girl that is with Jonathan, who has a nationwide pickup, texted and said that they murdered Jonathan's mother, somebody else, and set a house on fire.
And we're just checking a safety, or we want to find out about the vehicle, or?
Well, I know the vehicle's in Arizona because the Border Patrol stopped it 4 hours ago. But I just want to, make sure Nicole's all right.
And Nicole's last name again is?
Jones.
So her vehicle's in Arizona with her son, or no?
Yeah, no, her son, Jonathan, was with a 17-year-old official missing, Caitlin Coons.
When they arrived, the scene immediately raised red flags. The house was locked, and no one answered the door. A package had been left on the front step for several days, and the mailbox was overflowing. Clear signs that something was amiss. Repeated attempts to contact Nicole through known phone numbers and via the property manager of the gated community yielded no results. The growing silence was becoming deafening and ominous.
This information is third hand, but we know her car is, and because we know the Border Patrol stopped that car down this Arizona.
It's now in Mexico?
We don't know. They're trying to find it right now. They got an airplane up, and they're trying to locate it and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it was.
But this is pretty concerning with the package out there and what they're saying.
Well, we call the fire department to 4th Century.
Has
They
she
haven't
ever seen her?
She said she's odd.
Where's her mail? Where's her mailbox?
So
Where's the mailbox? What about the garage? Is the garage door open?
No. Garage doors aren't.
Do you know what the code is?
No, we don't have keys or codes or any of that.
To fully understand the gravity of the unfolding case, it's essential to examine the lives of the two individuals at the center of it all. 17-year-old Caitlin Coons had long been a troubled youth. Originally from Akron, Ohio, she had run away from home multiple times between the ages of 12 and 14. Over the years, she moved through various group homes and social services programs across the state. Each placement would last only a few months before Caitlin would flee again, continuing a cycle of instability and defiance. Her adolescent years were also marked by emotional and behavioral challenges, including the development of an eating disorder severe enough to require hospitalization on more than one occasion. It was during one of these inpatient stays, from which she had reportedly escaped, that she met Jonathan Jones through an online dating app in August 2022. Jonathan Jones, then 32, was an Army veteran who had served a year-long deployment in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Discharged in 2011 with a partial disability, he claimed that his injury stemmed from an accident involving a piece of armor plating during routine maintenance, resulting in minor memory loss and chronic tinnitus, ringing in the ears. Following his return home, Jonathan's personal life began to unravel. He divorced his wife and later fathered 2 children with a girlfriend, but the relationship eventually fell apart. Struggling with employment and financial stability, Jonathan moved back in with his mother, Noicole Jones. Nicole had been living in a home provided by her father in Sylvania Township, Ohio, a quiet suburb now thrust into the center of a growing investigation. 53-year-old Noicole Jones had lived a life marked by quiet resilience. Twice divorced, she had spent much of her adult years working as a phlebotomist at the local hospital, but a series of abusive relationships and deteriorating health eventually left her unable to continue working. Mostly homebound, Nicole's world became centered around her son, Jonathan. She was known to be deeply devoted to him, protective not just of his well-being, but also of the insular life they shared within the walls of their modest home in Sylvania Township. That fragile balance was disrupted when Jonathan began a relationship with Caitlin Coons. The 16-year age gap between the two alarmed Nicole, and she strongly disapproved of the pairing. Her concerns, however, did little to deter the couple's growing bond. The situation reached a breaking point when Jonathan was arrested in Wood County, Ohio, on charges of contributing to the delinquency of a minor and pandering. He spent 5 months in custody awaiting trial. Upon finally securing bond, he returned to his mother's home under strict court orders, fitted with an ankle monitor and explicitly prohibited from contacting Caitlin. Yet, not long after his release, Caitlin appeared at the house. Despite the court order, Jonathan secretly allowed her in, hiding her in the bathroom to avoid detection. Noicole, by all accounts, was unaware that Caitlin was in the home. What followed would spiral into a devastating and irreversible series of events. Back in Sylvania Township, the U.S. Marshals and local police officers finally gained entry into Noicole Jones's residence. What they found was far from what one might expect at the center of a homicide or arson investigation. The home was cluttered and clearly lived in, untidy, but absent of any signs of violence. There were no indications of a struggle, no blood, and no evidence of fire damage. Most notably, there was no body. And yet something was undeniably wrong. Noicole was nowhere to be found, but many of her personal belongings remained untouched. Her daily medications were still in place, and other essential items she relied on had not been taken. It was as though she had vanished without notice, and without preparation. If Noicole Jones had planned to leave for any extended time, it was clear she hadn't prepared for it. Her medications, wallet, ID, and other essentials were still in the house. Jonathan showed no signs of recent presence either. The cluttered desk, littered with drink cans and cigarette packs, looked untouched for days. The home showed no evidence of a struggle, yet something felt undeniably off.
Police Department! Yeah, that car's in Douglas, Arizona. And that would, yeah. I wonder if they could have did this arson somewhere else. How about the garage? Did you guys check the garage?
Yes.
Anything in there?
You would have heard it.
Shake plate. No, I meant, is there any vehicles in
No.
there? So this right here was rotted.
Why don't you, Dave, check that mailbox and see what is in there.
Okay.
What kind of mail.
All right.
As the detective from Lake said that this guy was supposed to move in to take care of her. This other detective from White House, or from Lake, said that he ran into John and Caitlin in January in their jurisdiction. So,
really?
And he said she's the brains of the operation.
Officers and U.S. Marshals waited for the forensic team, knowing that even a scene devoid of violence could hold dark secrets. As they exchanged what they knew, one marshal returned with a critical update.
Says, I just killed 2 people and I did 2 arsons. I'm in deep trouble and they don't know I'm away from Ohio and about what and that was kind of the end of it. But that's
There's the money?
That's
Is that her holding the money?
I don't know. I'm guessing this is her phone because clearly it says, right, Caitlin, whatever. But so Canton PD detectives are working that side of it.
Jesus. All right. That's why we're going to get a detective down here.
Hey, mom's probably in the trunk.
And what?
I said, that dude's mom's probably in the trunk.
Oh, who knows? I mean, I don't know what income, maybe she, they milked her for that, or who knows?
But I'm saying if they don't have the car, I wonder if they could see if they could put a locator to stop it at the border if they're trying to cross the
We've already done that and they got airplanes up right now.
Oh, awesome.
So, I don't know, man. I think I think this is definitely the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna look good.
No, I don't think so either.
Down south, in El Paso, Texas, Mexican authorities had handed Caitlin Coons over to U.S. officials. In the car she and Jonathan had driven, officers found Noicole Jones's wallet, social security card, ID, and a blood-stained camouflage backpack. Now in custody, Caitlin was brought into an interview room. FBI agents Colette Baumley and Hannah Mazza sat across from her. They didn't yet know all the answers, but they knew something awful had happened in Ohio, and Caitlin was the key to unlocking the truth. FBI agents Colette Baumley and Hannah Mazza understood that Caitlin Coons held critical information, and to obtain it, they began by building rapport.
So we're here because we just want to talk to you, figure out what happened, how you made it down there, if you were treated okay, because obviously...
I don't really want to talk about it. I already talked to the police about it.
In Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
They have a translator.
So what Colette's trying to say, like, our concern?
I know nothing bad happened. I was just down here for a week or so, and then when I went to go use the bathroom, that's when the Mexican police pulled me aside and was like, "You're gonna have to come with us. You don't have a traveling visa."
Okay.
That's what happened. And besides that, nothing else happened. Like, I've been to a couple Mexican restaurants. I slept at a couple motels here and there. Like, that's it.
Okay.
There's nothing deep, oh, I went on a killing spree. No, it's not what happened.
Okay.
And I came to Mexico because I was looking for a new beginning.
Approaching her with kindness and patience, they sought to earn her trust before delving into the darker questions. The conversation began with her relationship with Jonathan Jones. Caitlin spoke freely, recounting how the two had once cared for a stray cat he had taken in before his arrest the previous October, an anecdote that humanized their connection and subtly lowered her guard.
Who were you traveling with?
The person, he ended up having to go to jail because they found marijuana in the car, even though Border Patrol let us go with it or whatever.
That was Jonathan, right?
Yeah, Jonathan
Okay.
Jones. And I was with him, and they took him, and then they said sometime in Mexico, apparently you can't be alone in Mexico if you're a child. And I was like, well, I'm about to be 18, and I'm literally in Ohio, USA. When I was 13, that's when I was allowed to go off on my own. So
okay, so Jonathan, and I think you mentioned before that's your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did you meet him?
I met him before the car accident, and I met him at a store, and that was whenever I broke out of the MS program, which was an abusive eating disorder program. And whenever I was at the store, I gave him my number and I left. And then a few days after that, after living out on the streets, I turned myself in, and I stayed in contact with him ever since. And he's just been a caring person, so I ended up dating him because I'm about to be 18.
Okay.
But we haven't done anything sexual because I already know the rules of that.
Just sounds like he was a friend, right?
Boyfriend.
But he treated you very well. That's what I mean. He treated you very well.
Yeah, he made sure I ate, made sure the cat was eating. Whenever we did get the cat, he always checked up on his mom. He's just very caring.
Okay. So, do you by any chance know kind of what a dangerous area you were in?
No, I did see the Militara and the police drive by and stuff, but they were driving around so frequently, I didn't think anything was gonna happen, and I know how to defend myself because I grew up in the hood of Ohio, so I know how to fight for myself. And I've been in fights with girls my age. That's the reason why I don't become friends with people my age, because it's just I don't understand them.
Right. So I get it, and I have no doubt that you can defend yourself.
Gradually, the agents shifted the focus to Noicole Jones.
Does Nikki know that Jonathan's in jail in Mexico?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him since he got taken away, so I don't know if he called her or if the police called or what happened with that. I do not know.
She knows everyone.
Yeah, like I said, we offered her to come with us.
Right. When was the last time then that you talked to her?
Well, there's some losing though because of Mexico. So then mine was the only one working, but then mine kept glitching out. So we didn't really have working friends in Mexico.
Probably because you were hooked up to the Mexican network. So
right when we like went to Arizona, like when we talked to her. But I don't know when that was. I just know it was like right before we got to Mexico. We talked to her as we were making our way out to, Mexico or whatever, but then she was talking about, like, she's busy, she doesn't want to talk about going on walks. Like I said, she's a busy person. Like, I'm not going to keep an old woman, I'm not going to get yelled at by somebody. So we just kept traveling and stuff, and we were like, maybe she just is doing her own thing, let's, like, not bother her.
Got it.
That's how that went.
Okay. When did you guys leave in Ohio?
I do not know that either.
You don't know?
It was
a guesstimate?
I don't know an estimate either. I just know that we entered Mexico a week ago and that we went through some states along the way.
Okay.
I don't remember the states. I know one of them was Arizona. I know that we were in Texas at some point, and I know that we went to Mexico. That's all I know. I can't give you the exact dates because my brain doesn't let me process that because I have a brain injury.
They revealed that an ex-boyfriend of Caitlin's had contacted authorities after receiving disturbing messages from her. Messages suggesting involvement in serious criminal acts.
I understand you're saying you're not a victim, okay? I understand that you want to be an adult, and that's fine. I'm going to talk to you like an adult. I'm going to talk to you face to face right now about the issue that we have with this, okay? So it says you killed 2 people.
Okay, but like, you understand he has access to be able to hack it and let me finish.
Okay? It says you killed 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
We can't find Nikki. We don't know where she's at.
I didn't know she was missing.
And you guys have her car.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys had all of her credit cards.
I know that she went missing. Damn. So who killed her?
We don't know. We don't know.
No, but I want to know who killed her because she was a nice mom.
We know she hasn't been seen for a while. And it says we killed 2 people. We don't know if she's dead.
Okay, but you're putting that on me when I thought that she was doing perfectly fine and everything. I told you I didn't send those messages. He's been able to hack my account.
Well, we're trying to figure out what happened and where she could be.
I don't know.
And if Jonathan is now associated with her going missing or was that her being dead.
He wouldn't do that. He cared about her. He made sure that me and her ate. Like, he made meals for us. And was trying to get his mom to eat and stuff. Like, she wouldn't eat just because, like, her dentures would always, be in her mouth and she didn't, like, she felt uncomfortable eating like that or people. But, he kept telling her, it's okay to eat like that. Like, my girlfriend's okay with you. Like, she hasn't eaten it for herself. Like, Mom, come play cards with us. Mom, come do this. Like, we want you to be a part of this.
How old is her mom?
I don't know that.
Sensing her composure weakening, the agents revealed more of what they knew. Caitlin and Jonathan's journey to Mexico had not gone unnoticed. In fact, they had left a breadcrumb trail in their wake.
So, Jonathan took a gun to a pawn shop here in El Paso and told the people that his mom was dead. He did. So, Caitlin, we want to help you.
I didn't know he did that. I didn't know there was a gun. I didn't know his mom said. Like, I don't know what you guys want me to say.
It was the truth. We want to help. Oh, we just want to help you.
So she's dead. Did you guys find the body? No, I'm being serious. I don't know what happened. That's the reason why I'm asking. Did you guys find her body?
Really need your help. We just told me that this little position to be waiting to help with her doors to you. I think she deserves to be remembered properly, right?
I didn't know she was dead, so I don't really want that. I didn't know she was dead. Like, literally, when we left the house and everything, she was fine. Like, she was literally laying in bed on her phone. a small distance.
Whether Caitlin realized it or not, her earlier explanations no longer aligned with the mounting evidence. Maintaining the fragile trust they had established, the agents pressed a little harder. The strategy worked.
I don't know. She can't be dead.
Why?
Because she was fine when we left.
Caitlin, we have, not only do we have the pawn shop owner's statement, we have the gun now, and then we also have video surveillance putting you guys at the pawn shop.
I know we went to the pawn shop or whatever, but I didn't know about the gun. I knew that was, he wanted to pawn something to get money to be able to go into Mexico. That's all I knew, because they said that there's a border where you have to pay to get in.
Right. We also have another pawn shop where I'm sure that you know other items were pawned off at that one too. And Hannah's right. So when we talk to him and he's going to try to point the finger at you, we're trying to help you. There's a difference between being 17 and being 33. Okay?
I get that, but I just don't know.
I think you do know.
Well, it's a matter of fact of, put it all on him, even though it's not all on him, or go to jail.
So it doesn't have to be one or the other. Okay? Our job is to protect the truth and the violence. And that's what we want. We want the truth. And we want to give you an opportunity to tell your story before he tells it for you.
It was all it was only I told him that I didn't have $5. I ran away from an independent living house and I told him he had $5, to kill her, and he told me that he couldn't do it because that was his mom. And so he wouldn't do it, so I strangled her out and I took a rock and banged her head a whole bunch of times. And then I told him about it and he was shocked, so then I let him give him a moment, he threw up, and then we went to go get cleaning supplies that I cashed out and stuff, and then we cleaned up the body, cleaned up everything in the house. We disposed her body in a trash dumpster, and he couldn't do it, so I, was the one that put the body in the trash, and then after that, we took his ankle thing off, and then he went on the run. And most of the way, he was really struggling with it because it was his mom, and he needed marijuana. Then that's the reason why, there was marijuana gummies in the car when they tried to enter Mexico.
Why did you want to kill her?
Because she wouldn't let us be together.
And you left.
Caitlin eventually confessed, implicating both herself and Jonathan in the murder of Noicole Jones. At that point, no body had been discovered, and investigators had not yet confirmed that a murder had occurred. But with Caitlin's statement, that changed. Just when it seemed the interview had yielded all it could, Caitlin Coons revealed even more.
I also killed another person in Arizona in a drive-by. I don't know who it was. Also committed 2 arsons in Arizona in the middle of nowhere. Don't know what that was either.
Okay. So it was a drive-by.
I, loaded the gun and stuff and shot the person and I left real fast, and then after that I washed off the residue of the gunpowder.
Where were you when you heard that?
I know I was in Phoenix. There's Tucson that we were also in, and
Do you know where the driveway ended?
in Tucson.
Are you certain that there are distance?
I don't know what happened. I just remember pulling up and then out of the window and shooting.
Was it a male, woman, old, young?
I think it was a woman.
A woman. Do you remember how old she looked?
She looked old and she had glasses. She was to the bus stop.
Did you see her fall to the ground? No? Are you sure that it hit her?
I was so quick to get out of there because of the loud shot.
Were you in the car? Or you were in the car?
I was in the driver's seat.
You were in the driver's seat?
Yeah.
Is there a reason, like, that precipitated it, that made you do it?
I don't know. I was like, well, I killed someone, so I might as well kill another.
And what did Jonathan say?
He just told me that he has a bad feeling that it was all going to catch up and that, you know, he can't believe he killed his mom and that he misses his mom and, you know, basically that he didn't do it.
Did he kill his mom or did you?
I killed her, but he, like, he kind of helped with the body attraction, but then after him dropping the feet, I told him, let me do it, you can't.
The agents carefully steered the conversation back to the matter at hand, the death of Noicole Jones. It was the central crime under investigation, though Caitlin's additional disclosures hinted at other violent acts, including a possible drive-by shooting.
That you strangled her. How did you do that? Okay, where was she when that happened?
She was trying to get something out of the fridge and I flipped her over and started doing it, and then I took the rock that I had, got right on the floor, and I started throwing it at her head.
Is that what the scratches are on your arm?
I don't know what these are.
No. Remember, like, if you lift up your sleeves, the other ones, are they from her?
No.
No?
Oh, these are self-harm marks.
Okay.
Cutting?
Yeah.
Did she fight at all?
Yeah.
What? Did she fight at all? She was very in shock, so she didn't fight. Like, the only thing I remember is hackling with blood still up in her mouth, like.
Was that after she was hit with the rock? Did that happen?
Yeah, and then there was, like, blood clots that started coming out of her.
Out of where?
I think it came out of her mouth. They were, like, really big.
Okay. How long would you say that you strangled her for before you hit her with the rock?
I did it for 5 minutes, hit her with the rock, and then I kept strangling her. And then after that, after strangling her for like a good, like at least 10 minutes, I started banging really hard with the rock again.
Okay. So after the first 5 minutes of strangling her, do you think that she had passed away at that point, or?
I think it's whenever I stopped strangling her and put down the rock that she finally laid it out.
Okay.
Did it happen in the morning or the night? It happened in the morning, and then the body was disposed of that night.
Okay.
She wouldn't let us be together. Like, nobody would let us be together, and it's kind of sad because it's like, it's obviously, it's obviously, like, I want this, like, I want him, like, I don't care if he's old, I don't care if by the time I turn 18 he stops being an old ass man, I don't. I love him. There's nobody like him, is what I was trying to explain to him. And then I even told him, like, you know, this is the reason why I killed your mom, because she's being very inappropriate with you, and she wouldn't let us be together. If only she would have let us be together, I don't think I would have ever become a murderer in my life.
Caitlin had demonstrated she was far from a passive participant. She was officially placed under arrest and held for extradition to Ohio, where she would face the most serious charges possible. Meanwhile, after spending several days in a cramped Mexican jail on marijuana possession charges, Jonathan Jones was handed over to U.S. authorities in El Paso. He had no idea Caitlin had already spoken to federal agents. All he knew was that he was in custody and that investigators were aware of the outstanding fugitive warrant against him. After being read his Miranda rights and hesitating briefly on whether to request an attorney, Jonathan agreed to speak. Special Agent Colette Baumley and FBI Task Force Officer Michael Volpe sat down with him to hear his side of the story. They began by easing into the conversation, allowing Jonathan to speak freely, occasionally lightening the tone with small jokes and relatable comments to build a sense of comfort. The interview started with how his relationship with Caitlin began. While no video footage was available, the interrogation was audio recorded, capturing every word as Jonathan began to explain how their paths had crossed and eventually converged in tragedy.
Just because I'm trying to learn about you, like, how do you and Caitlin know each other?
We met through a dating website.
You were on what website?
Mingle 2.
Mingle
2.
Like number 2 or spell 2?
No, number 2.
Okay.
I was getting ready to delete it after having zero luck with all the dating websites and like trying to find somebody to date. She sent me a message, so I was like, all right, cool, I'll entertain the idea of the message and see what this is. Probably going to be a scam. I say, oh, spend some time with me, it's going to call, how it always is on dating websites.
Right.
And then we started talking and we hit it off.
And how long had you guys been chatting on Mingle 2 before you guys?
I'm trying to think, because this was last year.
Oh, okay.
Probably about a month and a half.
Before you guys physically saw each other?
Yes.
Do you remember, like, when last year you met her?
It was the beginning of October.
Was when you saw each other the first time?
Yes, like actual face-to-face.
Okay. And then, so like end of September you guys you found each other on Mingle 2?
Yes.
Okay. And then how many times have you guys seen each other since, I guess, October?
Well, we were together for like 2.5 weeks. I got arrested. Well, we both got picked up in Wood County for walking to a gas station at 5 o'clock in the morning to get something to drink and some cat food for a stray cat. Never again am I going to try to adopt a stray cat.
During his interview, Jonathan Jones recounted how Caitlin had returned to see him shortly after his release from jail, showing up late one night. He claimed that his mother, Noicole, was likely off on a bender, alleging she had recently developed problems with alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine. The agents, fully aware of the conflicting account Caitlin had already provided, allowed him to continue, letting the false narrative play out. Jonathan acknowledged there had been tension between his mother and Caitlin from the beginning, describing a simmering jealousy that never quite subsided.
I told her that I wanted to get back, be like back together with Caitlin, like where we could see each other, date, and whatever, and she just was not happy about that at all. She was like, no, as long as you're living under my roof, not happening, blah, 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 blah.
After nearly 2 weeks of evading justice, a timeline that included his mother's murder, a cross-country journey in a stolen vehicle, and time spent in a Mexican jail, Jonathan began to unravel. When the subject of the Texas pawn shop resurfaced, he finally cracked.
Gus told me to get a lawyer.
You're right as you're right, but based off the things that I've heard Caitlin say about you, I don't see that in you, especially when it comes to your mother. I can't imagine you would have treated your mother that way. Again, I'd love to talk to you about it, because Caitlin said a lot of hateful things about you and what may have transpired. So if that's something you want to do, I would love to do it.
I do know that both Mom and Caitlin have said about each other that if one or the other interfered with something that they would go to the extreme about, like my mom saying, oh, let her be crazy, she tries something, I'll shoot her, blah, 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 blah. And I know Caitlin has said on numerous occasions, like the first time we were together and when we started talking the second time, saying, if your mom tries to stop us from being together, then I will take action in my own hand. Not knowing exactly what she meant by that or anything, kind of a vague statement.
Mm-hmm.
Sensing the emotional shift, the agents appealed to the part of him that still saw himself as a son, one who had spent a lifetime under his mother's care. Faced with the weight of truth and inevitability, Jonathan requested an attorney. The agents respected his decision and stepped out to arrange legal counsel. But within seconds of being left alone with his thoughts, Jonathan rose, knocked on the door, and made a decision. He was ready to confess. Jonathan Jones eventually confessed to the grim details.
I decided that I'd rather talk to you guys instead of wait for a lawyer about the mom thing.
So I'm gonna let you kind of know the topic of discussion, so I'm gonna let you say what you want to say, and then if we have questions, we'll ask questions.
I was trying to cover for Caitlin by telling you I didn't know about my mom.
Okay.
We ended up going back to my mom's in my house after midnight. My mom was asleep, so they didn't have to deal with each other, and my mom didn't know Caitlin was going to be up here. Oh, sorry, in Ohio.
I got it now.
So we go back to the house. Caitlin and I hang out in my room. We cuddle and fell asleep. Wake up the next morning. I go out to have a cigarette, come back in, go back into my room, hang out with Caitlin for a minute, go out to the kitchen or dining room area, hang out with my mom, smoke a joint with her. She's like, oh, I'm about to go to the dispensary, blah, 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 blah. Do you want anything? It's like, oh, the only thing I want is a cart if you can get it. And, and she's like, all right, well, I'll get ready to go. I'm like, okay. Well, I went back into my room, grabbed my cigarettes, and I was going to go out for another cigarette. Well, when I come back in, firstly, when I'm outside, I hear something. I don't know exactly what it was, but definitely sounded like a voice struggling.
The voice struggling?
Yeah, like somebody getting hit or something. It just, through the door and everything, it just sounded like, can't really tell exactly what they were saying or anything. So I grabbed and finished my cigarette and went in. When I went in, I'm not going to forget the scene because there was a lot of blood. Caitlin went and I guess, I don't know when, my mom was getting ready to walk out the door or what. She was in the kitchen and there was just blood everywhere. I don't know if Caitlin stabbed her or hit her over the head with something. And I immediately went into shock and just so much blood. I don't know exactly what else she did. I confronted her about it and she's like, I had to do it so we could be together. Well.
And where are you guys at when this conversation's happening?
Just outside of the kitchen. She has blood on her. I stepped in some because of how I got everywhere. So I had a little bit on my socks. Just from the splatter getting everywhere. I don't know, like I said, if she stabbed her, cut her, or what, but there was blood all over the kitchen. At this point, I sit down at the kitchen table and I'm looking at her and I'm like, what did you do? And she should have told me she stopped her from being in the way of us being together. From there, we went.
And while you're in the house, do you see your mother?
Yeah, there is a body in the kitchen.
Okay. And then do you see where she's bleeding from or anything?
I couldn't tell because there's everywhere there was blood. Everywhere. Everything was coated. It was on the fridge. It was on the stove. It was near the sink. Didn't get into the sink. Go figure. The one easy place to clean didn't go.
He described how he and Caitlin visited a local grocery store and then a Lowe's home improvement to purchase cleaning supplies and tarps. They stopped for lunch at a nearby McDonald's before returning to the house to clean up the scene. Once finished, they placed Noicole Jones's body into a dumpster behind an old apartment complex where Jonathan had once lived. With the evidence disposed of, they decided it was time to flee, beginning their journey toward Mexico. When agents questioned Jonathan about the shooting Caitlin had mentioned during her own interview, his responses grew evasive. At that point, the interview concluded.
Is there anything that was maybe firearm related that happened?
Yes. Caitlin wanted to shoot somebody.
Okay.
I tried talking her out of it. she said that if I couldn't accept that she wanted to do that, then she didn't want to be together. And me at this point, not having anybody else in the world, only having her, was like, all right, let's go for a drive. I purposely went down like neighborhoods and stuff that people would not have been out at that time.
You were on time?
It was 5 or 6 in the morning, so like right before and like right at the start of the morning rush.
Okay. Daylight or still dark out?
The sun was coming up.
Okay.
And I remember driving down a road that there was a bus stop thing.
Like a little
building thing. Yeah. Not like a building, but like a little overhang for sure.
Like awning.
Yeah.
Typical bus stop
Yeah.
type stuff. Yeah.
And then I hear a bang. And I booked it straight to the expressway. And I don't think she hit anybody.
What did she say after?
Well, she complained about her ears ringing, which happens when you don't wear ear protection in a closed environment. You should do that. And then, as we were getting on the expressway, which wasn't even a couple minutes later, she's like, I can't believe I just shot somebody. I'm like, well, did you actually hit them? She's like, I don't know, I think so.
He was taken into custody and held for extradition to Ohio. In time, both Jonathan Jones and Caitlin Coons pleaded guilty to the murder of Noicole Jones. They were each sentenced to life in prison. Nicole's body has never been recovered. Though justice was ultimately served, the brutal and senseless nature of the crime has left a permanent scar on the quiet community outside Toledo, Ohio. Caitlin's emotionless recounting of the killing during interrogation serves as a haunting reminder of how easily a human life can be discarded, and how deeply that loss is felt by those left behind.
That documentary, or are you kind of whatever?
I don't feel bad about it because she was inappropriate towards him and she wouldn't let us be together. And you know what they say, like, let people do them, let people be people, like, don't interfere with somebody's life because it's going to come right back on you.
Do you think she deserved to back that?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, it's not like she was about to die anyways. So it's not like, it's literally, like, we all die at some point. It's not like she was literally about to die.
She was literally about to die?
No, I'm meaning it as, like, she was old already. And people, all of us, people in general, we all die at some point. And she was literally close to that age of dying. So I feel like it doesn't matter if I killed her or not. And I killed her because she gave me really 2 good reasons. She wouldn't let us be together, and she was very inappropriate towards him.
Okay.
And it's like, she didn't have friends, she didn't have family. So honestly, it's like I killed a nobody.
Well, what about the lady that was shot in Arizona?
I don't know about that person. I did that one out of anger.
Okay.
I just wanted to blow off steam, and I didn't even think about that.
How did a troubled 17-year-old girl and a 33-year-old fugitive manage to evade authorities across multiple states and even cross international borders before their eventual capture in Juarez, Mexico? With Noicole Jones' body still missing to this day, can true justice ever be found for a mother whose final moments remain shrouded in silence and secrecy? If this story shocked you as much as it did us, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime breakdowns. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Was justice really served without a recovered body? And what warning signs do you think were missed along the way? Thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay curious.